Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome on in to a DFS strategy video for the 2026 Valero Texas Open. My name is Eric, and in this video, I'm going to be going over the golf course and tournament information, pass optimal and GPP winning lineups. I'll go over the bucket system. I'm going to do what I've been doing the last couple of weeks because it's been fantastic, which is I'm going to be going through each of the buckets and determining if the projections that we have for how many golfers we want to select out of them, if those are correct, and if not, then we update it. It's been working out really well the last couple of weeks, so that's what we're going to continue to do. And then I'm going to get into the Marquee Tee Times because all of this helps us research the correct golfers and then narrow our player pool in order to find the right golfers. And then hopefully build ourselves the optimal lineup, if not the GPP winning lineup. Aim small, miss small. Let's target the optimal lineup this week. Just for everybody that's watching this, whether you're watching it live or you're watching it on replay, this is a live stream. So I will be interacting with the chat. I will try to do it at the end of each segment. And at the end of this video, I'm going to be building lineups. So for those watching on replay, you can find timestamps down in the description. You can skip ahead. So if you don't really care for the talking piece that I'm doing with the chat, skip forward. That's fine. For everybody in the chat, you will have opportunities for entries into giveaways. Before I get into the giveaway portion, actually, you know what? Let's just get in the giveaway portion. Yeah, let's do that. First and foremost, before I do a weekly and a monthly giveaway, I want to show you the big giveaway that will be coming soon. I feel like it's this one. I've already forgotten which one it's supposed to be. It's not that one. This is the one. This is the one. The Masters Win the Pot giveaway. If you are unfamiliar with what this type of giveaway it is, I start the pot with $20. So if I get no new subscribers on this channel, I'm giving away $20 regardless. However, this giveaway started at 892 subscribers. So I posted it over there. If you see all the way over to the left, the goal, it used to be a number for the monthly goal. We reached the monthly goal. I will be doing a monthly giveaway here shortly. I know it's not the beginning of the new month, but I'm going to be doing the monthly giveaway since this tournament starts in the new month. So I will be doing a monthly giveaway. That goal was 900 subscribers. But when I decided to run this Masters giveaway to win the pot, it was 892. Or that's how many subscribers I had at the time of announcing this giveaway. So that's where I'm stamping it, 892. This way it shows you guys what exactly the number is and what number you can hopefully, or what number we can all achieve to get to. Anyways, we're at 908 subscribers. I got up to 910, but if you didn't watch the Sunday stream, Byron and I got into some conversations about Tiger Woods and our true feelings about the whole situation. I think I lost 2 subscribers to that, which is, it is what it is. Like, I'm sorry you guys didn't care for it. It was from the heart. Obviously I try to be as eloquent as possible and as I don't know, as intelligent as possible about what I was saying. It is what it is. I'm not going to dwell on it. But we did lose 2. Here's for all the new listeners out there. If you want a chance to not only grow this pot, but also win this pot, whatever that final number is, Tuesday, April 7th, I am running the giveaway at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. The giveaway will end and I will pick a winner. At that time, whatever the subscriber count is, I will do the difference of that and 892. Every one new subscriber equals $2. Currently, right now, doing the math, we have 16 new subscribers on this channel for when I started the giveaway. That means we're adding $32 to the pot. and now we're at $52. So we are at $52 added to the pot. If you want an entry into the giveaway, be subscribed. And then also, any video that I'm posting from here until the Masters, comment on it. Go and comment on the replay version of it, as well as be here in the live streams during the roll calls. There are multiple ways of getting entries, and it only takes one entry to win. How many times, everyone in the chat, how many times have I ran a giveaway where only one entry from a person actually won? I usually call it out because I show it during these giveaways, like, hey, check it out. There was one, he commented one time. That's all it takes. So if you feel like you're behind the 8 ball, technically you are, but it really only takes one entry to win. So subscribe, comment, be here in the live chats when I do roll calls. That is a good way to get an entry into the giveaway, and then you're in. You're in. So again, I'll be running this giveaway on April 7th at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's 9 p.m. Eastern, for those that don't know. So yeah, there we go. That's the big Masters giveaway. Now, you kind of heard me talk about monthly and weekly giveaways. $5 I give away every single week for those that participate on the channel. Again, that's commenting on the replay portions of the videos. That's being here during the roll calls. All of those things are ways to get entries. And then the monthly giveaway is just a membership to SweetSpotDFS.com, which I'm happy to announce that I've added new tools to it. I'm adding new tools almost every week. And if it's not every week, it's every other week, basically. Because I'm using this for my own research when I build lineups. And I crave information. I crave more data. I want more. And so therefore, I continue to put new stuff on there for you guys to use, for me to use. So this website isn't going anywhere. I'm going to be continuing to use it for as long as I can. And that means this will be open for as long as you guys care to be subscribed to. So one other thing with the monthly giveaway is if we reach the goal, I also give away a t-shirt. We reached that goal. We reached it. It was 900 subscribers and we went over it. We're at 908. So thank you all for subscribing. Thank you all for supporting. We will be running both the weekly and the monthly giveaway right after I remind you of another update that or another giveaway that's happening. And I get it. It's a lot, but I don't know. I like to reward those that reward me. I have a $1,000 giveaway called the SweetSpotDFS.com giveaway. To get an entry into this giveaway, go sign up at SweetSpotDFS.com. There is a link in the description down below. This is for all you people watching live. This is all the people watching on replay. Go check the description. You can just go and click the link. It'll send you to the website. This is what the website looks like. All you have to do is there's a log in button up here. You guys can barely see it. I'm already logged in, so it's not going to work for me. But just go ahead and hit log in. It'll get you to a site or a landing page that you can either log in or create a new account. Otherwise, if you want to come down here, I do have a weekly subscription, monthly. This is on the homepage, by the way. I forgot to mention that. But if you scroll down, there's a weekly subscription, a monthly subscription, a yearly subscription, and also a founding member subscription. This is limited to 20 remaining. It was limited to 25 users, but I have 5 that have currently purchased it. So I'm only giving it to 20 more people. It's a one-time purchase of $600. That's the same price that a lot of people are charging for 1 year. And this will give you access for life. Doing the old NWO skit. For life. There are more benefits I should add to this. But yeah, one of the biggest ones is you can provide input for the website. The 5 that have, I shouldn't say all 5, but the majority of the current lifetime members have provided their own feedback and their requests. Like some people have requests to add things to the website. I have no problem listening and I have no problem adding. So I have done that in the past, and that's what you guys can also expect. Another thing that I'm going to say with that, I was just thinking about this. I was trying to collab with Byron, but Byron's also collabing with other people during the Masters, and there's maybe a little too much there. But my founding members will get discounts for any collaborations that I do. That is something I will always fight for as well when it comes to being a founding member. Like, because you've already paid the one-time subscription, whereas everybody else, it's recurring. You know, recurring is easy. I can add discounts to recurring payments and stuff like that. But for founding members, it's like, you're going to pay this one-time whatever. You will get additional benefits whenever I collab with anybody. If I collab with any, websites where you can get discounts and stuff like that for signing up for whatever, you're going to get that, and it's going to come through usually discount codes or promo codes or something like that. So again, I'm going to fight for my members. Whoever does decide to become a founding member, that is you putting a big chunk of money towards me to support all of the things that I do. So like, that is unquestionably huge for my well-being. Well, not well-being, but the support of this channel and the support of the website. So yeah, I just want to throw that out there just to get it out, because some people are kind of dubious of it and not sure what all the benefits are. I mean, some of it's just undecided currently. It's wide open as to some of the other benefits that can happen. Anyways, back to the SweetSpotDFS.com giveaway. I am giving away a lifetime membership. I'm giving you an annual membership. I'm giving 2 $100 cash giveaways. That equals up to $1,000 worth of value. All you got to do is create an account at SweetSpotDFS.com, and I'm going to grab the distribution list from the signups for all the emails that are provided. I will run that giveaway once this channel reaches 1,000 subscribers. So you don't technically have to be subscribed to this channel in order to win this giveaway. You just have to create an account at SweetSpotDFS.com. However, why not subscribe and get us to 1,000 subscribers faster, you know? So there it is. Those are all the giveaways. Thank you all for being patient as I get through that. I just, like I said, I like to provide rewards for those that are helpful to this channel. And that's all of you guys that are commenting in the live chat right now. I'll get to you guys soon. Thank you all for being here. And yeah, thank you for everyone that watches. Let's do our giveaways. Weekly giveaway. We had 35 total entries. We had 3 roll calls last week because the stream went 3 hours long. Well, I try to do a roll call once every hour. I don't think I'm going to be live for 3 hours tonight, and I will tell you why shortly. But yeah, I think we could get to 2 roll calls. Also, another way to get entries is to go comment on the videos after they go live. So when they are on replay, you just go into the comment section, you type something in there. Doesn't matter. I don't really care what it is, as long as it's not, egregious or mean or anything like that. You guys will get entries into that giveaway. There is something in the description of this video that'll get you an additional entry. So I can see Nathan did it, Denny did it, and so did Joanne. Go check the description of the video if you want to see how to get an additional entry into the giveaway. 35 total weekly subscribers. I'm going to run that right now. LBD Titan. That's like the 2nd week in a row, isn't it? Congrats, dude. I should have your information since you sent it to me last week. I'll just have to go into my Venmo and look for it. But congrats, man. Remember, this is automated, or not automated. Jesus, it's random. So I'm just showing you guys how random it is. It just picks random people. But yeah, congratulations, LBD Titan. Now we go to the monthly giveaway. Like I said, I'm running it today, despite it not being the first, or it's not the new month yet, but this tournament resides in the new month. We're doing the monthly giveaway right now. 90 total entries. Remember, it only takes 1. So here we go. Monthly giveaway. This is a membership to SweetSpotDFS.com, a monthly membership that gives you That gives you access from the Masters probably until the PGA Championship. So if you already have an account at SweetSpotDFS.com and you're already putting monthly stuff in there, or I should say this, if you're a monthly member already, we obviously just skip a month of you having to pay. If you are a lifetime member already, it's a $20 value, basically, is what I'm going to provide. Plus, you get a free t-shirt. So anyways, here we go. Takes one entry, guys. One entry. Hartman 2. I haven't seen him in the chat for a really long time. One entry. The API, the Arnold Palmer Invitational roll call number 1. Hartman 2. Here's what has to happen. You, sir, have to reach out to me. Whether it's through, I prefer email. So you'll see the email come up here shortly. It's sweetspotdfs@gmail.com. Email me one thing, or, email me. Let me know what size t-shirt you are, and I will send you a t-shirt. I'll also give you options because I have 3 different types of t-shirts. I actually have 4, but the oldest t-shirt that I have only has a few sizes left. So email me that. And then also, if you're not already on SweetSpotDFS.com, we can create you a monthly membership. I just need your email address that way. We can sign. You can go in and sign up. I can give you a promo code, or I can go in there and create something for you. You just let me know how you would like that done, and I will do it. So there we go. Those are all of the weekly and monthly giveaways. Like I said, there is a Masters giveaway. This is what it currently looks like. I haven't been able to change the color scheme from the Open Championship to the Masters. I just thought about it right before jumping on. So I am going to be adding comments of the videos that have been, and also the roll call. So the roll call last week I said would go towards the Masters giveaway. The roll calls this week will go towards the Masters giveaway. And then obviously comment on any of the videos, including this one after this goes live and it goes on replay. Comment on any of them, and that goes towards the Masters giveaway. This is the Win the Pot giveaway. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. I'm going to go ahead and delete all of these. Thank you all for participating. I'm going to get into kind of, I guess, what do we call this? My God, I can't even think of the term. I got to keep these up here. I'm not going to remember to put them in. Housekeeping items. So if y'all didn't know, well, actually, I guess I've never said this. I get cluster headaches from time to time. I haven't had cluster headaches for almost a year and a half. Like, it was 2 Octobers ago, I think, was the last bout of cluster headaches I get. If you don't know what they are, go look them up. It's the most excruciating pain. It's like the worst headache you can possibly get. And they are debilitating. Like, they will, I guess, debilitate me. I don't want to use the same word. I'm trying to think of different words, but I am like, I can't do anything for an hour. I had one today at 20 to 6. So 2.5 hours ago, basically, I had one. And thankfully I have medication for it. What the medication does is it makes you very like, it's the medication opens up your blood vessels to allow blood to flow better, but it will make you feel like your heart is racing at times. So part of that too is like, I have to lay down, and a lot of times what'll end up happening is I get knocked out from, if not the medication, the headache itself. So I was a little late to stream today. I apologize for that. It's just like when I woke up, I had that heart racing feeling, and it's just very difficult, you know, to like concentrate on anything. And plus I didn't really want to get out of bed. So I'm better now. Thank you all for being here, but I'm letting y'all know, cluster headaches, they last for it's like 2 to 4 weeks that they last. I got my first cluster headache 2 Saturdays ago. And I've had a cluster headache every day since last Wednesday, every day. And I had one last night at 4 a.m. and I had one again today. I shouldn't say last night, but I had one at 4 a.m. today. I had one at 5:30. Yeah, dude, they suck. They just suck. If I was having one right now, I would have to cut the stream because I just can't sit here and try to concentrate on one thing. Like I literally have to close my eyes. The light isn't a huge issue when it comes to these types of headaches. Sound isn't a big issue. It's just intense pain on one side of my head, and it's awful. So, in the just to kind of protect the health of this stream and this podcast and stuff like that, I'm not going to go super late. You know, tonight is going to be more of a, let's get through the key points and then move on from there. That way I'm not staying up super late. We can get more rest, you know, all that kind of stuff and be good for the Masters. Hopefully I can knock, for me personally, these things have only lasted for like 2 weeks at a time in my life. And I've had them 4 of the last 6 years. So, yeah, just wanted to give you all an update. I'm sorry for being late to the stream. I've been late to, 2 weeks ago, I wasn't late to the stream with me and Byron because of them, but this last week I was. So I told him all about it. He looked into it and was just like, oh, geez. Okay. So throwing that out there. Another housekeeping item. I have added, I know this is a bit late, but on the cheat sheet, there is a Masters button. And if you click the Masters button, it will update with the salaries. So there's different ways you can look at the Masters, because even next week we'll have the Masters tournament in it, but it doesn't have the salaries for it. Because how the cheat sheets work for me is you will always have a this week, a next week, and then when there's an alternate event, this button will be enabled. Whereas if there's not a tournament, like an alternate event, this button will be disabled. But when it is enabled, you will be able to click on a tournament that's to the future. Like sometimes I'll even put or any other major tournament, I'm going to make this a button that you can go and click on, and you will see the field, and it will have, like, you know, the last 2 weeks if they're playing or not, basically. So that's available to you guys. Another one that I've added are the lead-in stats. I have shown this on the streams with Byron and I Sunday night, and all this, basically what this is, are the spreadsheets that I have created over the years. You know, like these spreadsheets here, that what it looks like. You get course history last year, recent form, then you get the last 7 weeks of tournaments that have been played. That's exactly what you're going to get with the lead-in stats. So you can select any tournament. You know, obviously we are the Valero Texas Open. You click on that, select the year that would make sense. Like obviously the 2026 tournament has not happened, so you do not see any results in here. But if we go to 2025, you can then see, you know, what the leaderboard looked like and what all the stats were coming into the event. So if I went and clicked on last year, these are strokes gain stats for the last year. These are lead-in stats, ladies and gentlemen. Lead-in stats. You can see what the salary was before the golfer played that week, and then what their off the tee stats were. So last year's just 365 days. Within the last 365 days, here are the stats that were basically, can't think of a different word than time-stamped, captured. There we go. These were the stats captured. Their last 365 days worth of stats averaged into off the tee, approach, around the green, putting, tee to green, total. So when you hear a tout or anybody else on YouTube or wherever you get, you know, your golf information say, well, this year off the tee really matters at this event, Well, you'll be able to go in and look at all the results within the top 10, top 20, whatever you care. And by the way, there are filters over here. So if you really want to look at the top 20, let's use the top 12. If I put in the top 12 and we X out of this, all you're going to get are golfers from the top 12. I will have more summaries over here that will show you, you know, how many golfers were over, I don't know. I'll create thresholds for off the tee, approach around the green, all that good stuff. So that'll be available to you guys. This is like one of the better, tools that I have. This has always been a tool I've been wanting to build. More or less, I've always wanted to do it in a recent form and course history version, but any filter you apply will stick as you cycle through the buttons of what you want to look at. Last 7 weeks of strokes gained stats, there you go. The week before heading into the event, there you go. You can see what the result is from the week before to go along with the strokes gained stats. So if you are like, for me personally, when I hear certain people online talk about, hey, these are the stats that really matter at this golf course, you know, the golfers that I really care about are coming in with such good strokes gain approach, yada, yada, yada. Here you go. You can figure it out. You can actually look at it and see if it matters, because they might be cherry picking one golfer that had good stats. Whereas if you look at the rest of the other top 10 golfers, you might see off the tee doesn't really matter. Approach doesn't really matter. You know, around the green, whatever it is, you will find what stats truly matter. And that's kind of what I put in the little summary here. It's like the purpose of this tool is to show you the historical lead-in stats, to show you a better picture of what stats matter. We're often told what stats matter. Now you'll see what stats matter. I don't have to try to sell you on anything. You guys can do your own research and see what stats are. If for whatever, I mean, like, just to get ahead of myself here and just to, you know, defend this tool, if you're dubious about this, go to Data Golf, because all the strokes gain stats I get are from Data Golf. The results are just easy to keep track of, and there are several other tools on this website that you can go and look to see what Brian Harman did last year, or what his lead-in stats were. Like, there's a strokes gain page right here, and if I were to go ahead and select, you know, the Valero Texas Open, and if I were to go and find the golfer, gotta do it this way, we can look to see, and I'm gonna open this up to 2014. Oh, I don't want to click on the Valero Texas Open, but if I do this, let me clear this out. And we're only looking at Brian Harman leading into the Valero Texas Open. So basically get to the point where the tournament was played right here. And you can see the raw stats that went into that summary that I provided. You can see, I mean, I don't have any of the summaries down here, but you can go ahead and look at every single event. If you want to do the math, you can go for it. And again, if you want to validate my stats, go to Data Golf. You'll find everything here comes from Data Golf. So throwing that out there, and that's the beautiful thing about lead-in stats. This just gives you a cleaner version of having to do all of that math. It's right here for you. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to, you know, put all the different filters in and try to figure out, you know, what stats look like heading into the event. They are captured and posted right here for you guys to see. So anyways, yeah, this is a new tool. I guess I don't really have anything else to mention right now. Nothing off the top of my head, so I'm not going to sit here and try to think. What I'm going to do is acknowledge the chat. I am sorry for keeping you guys out there for as long as I have. What is it, 30 minutes? Jesus. All right, 30 minutes of giveaway reminders and housekeeping items. My apologies. Razor Sharp, let's go. Good evening to you. Good evening to Joanne, AJ Love, Good to see AJ Lee. I'm thinking of wrestling. Good to see you as well. Logan, nice to see you. Skylar, bro, what's going on, man? Nice to see you as well. A commenter demands you all like the stream. Hey, that's a great reminder. 25 likes on the stream, and I will give out 5 memberships. 5 YouTube memberships, because every Wednesday night I do YouTube members only streams, not SweetSpotDFS.com member streams or members only. I'm sorry for that. But YouTube does not allow me to determine who gets memberships or anything like that. But anyways, Wednesday nights are members only for YouTube streams. And that's where I kind of dig a little bit deeper into all the stats and all that good stuff to figure out which golfers I want to play for the week. At least I'm going to be building my own lineups with all that. AJ says I'm doing okay. Started therapy. Okay. Awesome, dude. On your neck. Gotcha. Be doing that 3 days a week for the next 12 weeks. Ooh, good luck, man. Yes. Hope everyone is well today as well. Emotional IQ is okay as long as it's high thought out educated idea. I'm nervous about this week because everyone I've been picking withdraws or misses the cut. Yeah, AJ, let us know who you're picking and then we can avoid that. Yeah, you should. We have had more withdraws than any other. Oh my God. Yeah, at least all the withdraws are happening now. If you didn't know, I mean, if you go to DraftKings right now and look, you're going to see a bunch of golfers with an out next to their name. Go check it out. I don't know how many there are, but I've had to update my roster and the salaries that come with it. So yeah, there's a lot of withdraws. Wheels Up says it's affected me every week. I feel like we have to try to beat it with with an information edge. Yeah, all the withdraws. I've had 13 surgeries in my 36 years of life. So make sure you take care of yourself post and pre-surgery. Hopefully the long-term benefits are better for your neck. That is for AJ. Okay. You've made your Masters lineup for the Millionaire Maker? Please, Jesus. AJ goes, I remember your headaches. I had them before as well. It's brutal, yeah. Tiger would like some of that medication, says Razor Sharp. I mean, they're not like Oxycontins or hydrocodones or anything like that. It's a medication to open up the blood vessels, so. AJ, put your faith in the man upstairs. May the good Lord be on your side. All right, so a lot of therapy talk. AJ, I hope your therapy is great. I was about to leave because you didn't say hi. Denny, hey man, nice to see you too, man. Sorry, yeah. Like I said, it's like it just crazy how things just change just slightly, and they change things like for the stream. I mean, I'm almost going to be 40 minutes in before I actually start the course and tournament information, and that's not, in my opinion, that's not okay. I know it's a free-flowing stream and I like to provide as much detail and information as possible, but I don't like to spend a long time on intros because people do not have patience, and rightfully so. They don't need to show you that type of stuff. So okay, that's all that I have. If you guys want to leave questions in the chat, I will get to them when I get to them. I've got 2 chats up right now. One, just I keep track of old messages. The other one is I'll see the new messages coming in. So let me know. But let's go ahead and get into this right now. Okay, let's start with the tournament information for the Valero Texas Open. I like to use the tournament information or the tournament stats page on SweetSpotDFS.com and take a look at a few pieces of information. The whole purpose of this segment, the tournament and the golf course information, is to give you data points to use for researching. There's a lot of summaries up here. It shows you what type of cut this is, what the highest cut score, the lowest cut score, and the average cut score, as well as the average winning score, the lowest winning score, the highest winning score, all this good stuff. I don't need to read everything that's on the screen, but this is all available to you for the tournament stats. And when we do put in Valero Texas Open for the tournament, you can see what past Valero Texas Opens look like whether it's winning score, cut score, strength of field, the field type, all that good stuff. How many golfers were in the field? That's kind of an important piece. This week, there are going to be 132 golfers in the field. Not 130. I forgot to do the math, but you got to do numbers that are divisible by 3. 130 is not divisible by 3. 132 is divisible by 3. That's because all tee times go out in threesomes. But there will be 2 more golfers added to the field. So it's 132. Obviously, that's less than what you see, in previous years. And that has a lot to do with the changes that the PGA did at the beginning of the season. They shortened fields to make sure golfers can get, each of their rounds in through Thursday and Friday to make the cut and then keep everything on schedule. Also puts more of a premium on playing good golf. Like if there's 156 golfers in the field, that means, from previous years where there were 156, when it gets shortened to 132, those other 12 golfers, they might qualify for other tournaments, and it will require them to play better to get invited to the next event or to be qualified for the next event. So for the golfers, it provides more of a premium on playing better. And if you were to lose your tour card, it's going to be very difficult to get it back and then also, get into these events, especially with all the signature events that are happening. So anyways, that isn't really going to help you out with DFS. I just wanted to provide that information. But these are all data points, like I said, right here. You can see this tournament has hit 20 under several times. I will guarantee you this year it does not get to 20 under because of all of the weather that's coming in. I'm not going to go over the weather today, but there are a lot of thunderstorms, a lot of wind that's projected to be in the forecast. Like obviously, for all of you that do create lineups and take this seriously, you probably already have weather on your mind. You're already looking at weather. My biggest piece of advice always is just look at weather Wednesday night. Weather changes. I'm from Minnesota. Weather changes drastically in a 24-hour period. If I were to tell you what the weather looks like right now and give you that information, you might build lineups tonight or you might build lineups tomorrow without even looking at the new weather forecast, and it might just, it might change so much that whatever I tell you won't apply. So personally, I don't find it that valuable to bring up in Tuesday streams or Monday streams or Sunday streams. I know there are some people that do. I think it's just best to tell you, hey, the forecast looks pretty rough. And there might be a weather advantage, a weather wave advantage. I think when Stephen Bowditch won in 2014, there was one at that point in time. I think there was. And that's where, by the way, that's where everybody got the whole weather information from, was like this year, I think, for betting or something like that. DraftKings wasn't here in 2014, so I don't think it was 2014. There was a year where it all happened. I can't remember exactly, but yeah. Anyways, I know that this event has been affected by wind before. I think it's going to be again this week, so be on the lookout Wednesday night. Okay. So with data points, what do we do with these data points that we have on the screen? At SweetSpotDFS.com, you can use each of these data points, each of them, and apply them to most of the tools. So the tools that have the filters that look like this off to the side. Actually, I should just say this: any tool that I have, if you drill down into any of them, you're going to find what type of filters you can use. So we have a field size filter. Well, that's easy. We have 132 golfers in the field this week. You could do something from 120 to 144, and I think that'll be fine. If you want to get really narrow, then you go to 132. I'm going to remove Brian Harman from the selection. I just had mentioned Brian Harman not too long ago, and I'm going to change the dates to within the last year, basically. So we'll do that, and we can do this. So you can find all of the golfers and their performances. I shouldn't say you can find. All of the golfers in this top right box are golfers who played this or are playing this week. and I have updated it right before going live. So this should be updated with active golfers in the field right now. If there are any more withdraws, be on the lookout for that. I will try to update this when I can. But just based off of what I put in there for this field size, that has shrunk a lot of the rounds of golf that these golfers have played. Rounds of golf can equal, 4 rounds of golf for an event or 2 rounds of golf for an event. So Tommy Fleetwood could have played either 3 events where he played 4 rounds in them, or maybe this is 6 events that he's only played 2 rounds. Missed cuts, obviously. I think we kind of understand by how good his stats are, he wasn't missing the cut. But I want you all to be on the lookout for that, because obviously that stuff matters. But just on that filter alone, what you would do is, personally, I would say go to strokes gained total and see which golfers are the best with any of the filters that you use. With this filter, you can see which golfers have been playing the best and how many rounds of golf apply to that type of filter that you put on it. So that's just one way of doing it. I don't really care that much about filter or field size, but if we were to project that the winning score, remember, average winning score is 14 under. I would say your winning score is going to be anywhere between 12 to 16 under this week. If delays don't happen that are so long that they go into the next day, I think with the wins that are projected, the scoring conditions are going to be tough. So let's just say 12 to 16 under. Let's just put something like that into these filters. So, you come down to winning score, and we'd put the lowest number on the left side, so that's minus 16, and then we put the highest number on the other side, minus 12, and now we can see again how this all shakes out. I would just double check that this is now sorted correctly. Are we stuck? Okay, there we go. So you can see Tommy Fleetwood is the best when scoring conditions are kind of what we're projecting. 12 under to 16 under, followed by Sepp Straka, which I think is a pretty good play. If I had any wind data, I think you'd find that Sepp Straka is one of the best in the field. So the fact that, with the winning score like this and tough conditions are expected, I kind of like Sepp Straka quite a bit. You can see Sudarshan Yellow Mirage, who's up here as well. He's been really good as of late. And the rest of the golfers here. Now, one thing I'd forgotten to mention when it comes to these data points, I'm going to provide you some of these filters and some of the golfers that do show up just to give you what that looks like. So you don't necessarily need access to the website, but obviously you can dive into more of this data, more of the data points, more of the filters by having an account at SweetSpotDFS.com. So that's what you have with that. Also, by the way, if you don't want to use any of these stats, any of these right here, if you were to go into the golf course stats filter, you could also use, again, using the tournament stats, you can see which golf course is being used, TPC San Antonio. So what you could do with any of these tools, as long as it has the little flag over here, these are the golf course stats filters. You can put TPC San Antonio in, and then you can see which golfers have played the best. Well, with the rounds of golf being 4, you can see Brian. Oh, this is within the last year. Sorry. Clear the date, and now you'll see who's the best, who's been the best at TPC San Antonio. Jordan Spieth, Denny McCarthy, they both have over 20 rounds of golf to their name. Thorbjorn, Sammy Valimaki, Brian Harman, we just saw, last year had the best strokes gained total. That's because he won. Outside of his win, you can see, it averages down a little bit lower. Lucas Glover at $6,500. Not a bad play. And technically, this is course history. Strokes gained total to me is obviously, it goes hand in hand with finishing position, but you at least can see the rest of the stats that kind of go with the strokes gained total, what they did off the tee, approach, all that kind of stuff at this event. So, yeah, I think this is a great tool to use, or I should say, strokes gained stats are obviously great tools or great stats to look at, But yeah, the filters that you can apply just by going to, again, the tournament stats to figure out which data points to use, I think will help you select at least one or two, maybe three golfers that you want to anchor your lineups around. And I think throughout this entire video, if you pay attention, when we get towards the end where we get into the Marquee Tee Times, and then we want to, select 2 to 4 golfers to anchor around. If you see some of the same names that I've filtered throughout this video, those might just be slam dunk plays, like obvious we should choose those golfers type of plays. So yeah, there we go. That's the tournament information. This is all that you need to know when it comes to the tournament. When it comes to the golf course, this is under golf course stats. And I have the Valero Texas Open loaded in here. If it isn't, go into the tournament, type in Valero Texas Open, and then choose the TPC San Antonio Oaks course. And obviously this year is 2026. You will see all of the other pieces of information here that might be important to you. You can, again, use all of these stats for filtering. We have a base layer of Bermuda. You can ignore that because it is overseeded, and you can see all the overseed grass here. We've got POA on the greens, and then you've got ryegrass and fescue throughout the entire golf course. So again, if I go to strokes gain stats, clear this out and click on the grass icon, the grass stats filter, we are on overseas, so we can just go ahead and drill into that. Last week, what we did is kind of the same thing we're doing this week. Just go ahead and put in POA Trivialis for the overseeded greens. And now you can see, this is over, it's over a 13-year span, but we can tighten this up by, I think, just doing what we had before, which was what, 4/3/2025. And just to make this easier for all of us, we can just go ahead and go 4/2/2026. That would be the beginning of this tournament. So now we look at the last year's worth of data, because obviously it's a good sample size. Plus, you're going to see which golfers are doing better right now, whereas more historical data will bring up some golfers that might not be doing as great currently based off of their historical performances. And I don't know how, advantageous or beneficial that is. Maybe we don't look at that stuff. But anyways, within the last year on this type of overseeded grass, Mav McNeely is your best golfer, followed by Siwoo. There's Sudashan yet again. That's up there. I mean, if you watch the Sunday night stream, we went over the elite player pool, and I'll go over that again this week. Mav McNeely's in there, and I've got no issue playing Mav McNeely, especially on in a field like this. We haven't really seen Mav McNeely pop, that much as of late, but shoot, I don't mind playing Mav McNeely. If you do select any of these golfers' names, you will see the tournaments that apply to the filter that you put on, and you can see what his finishes are. 3rd at Valero last year, 3rd at RBC Heritage, 33rd at the PGA Championship. That's interesting. I want to look at that to make sure that that's correct. I imagine it is, but would it actually be overseeded POA? Last year's PGA was Quail Hollow, right? But it would have been in May. Would there have been? I can't remember off the top of my head. I'll have to look into that. But either way, he hasn't missed a cut. His worst finish is 33rd. If you take out the PGA Championship, it's 32nd. That was at the Players earlier this year. I don't have an issue playing Mav McNeely. But anyways, yeah, a lot of the golfers up here. Bronson Burgoon was mentioned, I think, on the Pat Mayo Experience. I don't mind going to Burgoon. He used to be a favorite golfer of mine to select at $6,600. I think that's fine, but obviously we'll get into salaries here shortly with the Pass Optimal and GPP winning lineups. But yeah, I don't know if you really have to drop that far down, but you can see the rest of the golfers here. A pretty good selection, 8Ks and above, pretty much. Brian Harman, 7,900 outside these 6K golfers. Everyone else is 8K and above. So yeah, again, these are things you can do for research. Is to go to the tournament stats page, go to the golf course stats page, find some of these data points and use them in your filters to narrow down your player pool. That's all that I have to say. I don't think shot shapes really matter that much at this golf course. The rough is a little bit thicker than last week's rough, so, you know, bomb and gouging isn't going to be as advantageous. Not to say it's never, you know, obviously being a bomb and gouge type. If any of the golfers that you like are bomb and gouge types of golfers, that kind of travels everywhere. So I think it's just fine. That's all I have when it comes to the golf course and tournament stats. Let me check in with chat and then we're going to do a roll call. Lee comes, or Lombardi Lee comes in. What's going on? Nice to see you, man. Can I get a timestamp on that Tiger debate, or do I need to watch all 16 hours from Sunday? Yeah, we were live for about 16 hours. You're right. I watched some of it live. You know what I think of Tiger. I'm pretty sure it was at the 40-minute mark, and I think we talked about it for a good 30 minutes to 40 minutes. I think it was, if you go into that Sunday stream and you watch it from 40 minutes in, I don't know. What I like to do is I like to drag that little progress bar on the bottom of the stream and just kind of try to find where we're talking or whatever. If you get to the middle of the stream and you don't see my website up on the screen, or you don't see Byron's spreadsheets or the DraftKings board on the screen, that's a good indicator that one of us is, or we're probably talking about that stuff. So, yeah. Let's see here. Lee, hanging in there. Life is not going well. Joanne, I don't like hearing that. Okay. Okay. Hey man, what a community we have. I enjoy all of you guys talking to each other's like you are all brothers and sisters. It's awesome. Appreciate it. Let's do a roll call. Again, this is going to go into the Masters giveaway as well as the weekly and the monthly giveaway. You know what? I don't have anything. We haven't really talked about anything. So all I'm going to say is, for the first roll call, just copy what I just wrote. Let's hit the sweet spot. That's all that you need to type in the chat. That's how you're going to get a roll call into, that's how you're going to get a giveaway. That's going to be roll call 1, but that's how you're going to get an entry into the giveaway. Wow, words can be tough sometimes. Corey Graves, what's going on, man? Nice to see you. Just got back from a movie. Which one? Let's not the sweet spot, AJ Love. What the heck, man? Was that an autocorrect or what? I mean, I guess I'll give you credit for that. John Bizzle, nice to see you, man. I think I saw your name in the chat earlier, and I must have skipped past it when I was saying hi to everybody. So hello, good to see you. Got to be careful with LBD Titan in here now. He's got 2 weeks in a row that he's won a giveaway. We went and seen Hoppers. Is that a good movie? Do you have kids? Or, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. You can enjoy whatever movie you want to enjoy. Was it okay? That's where, like, it's the animated movie where, like, adults or people put their brains into animals and then they do animal things, right? All right, did I get everybody? We got Razor Sharp as the last one that I see. There goes, I want some Sweet Spot. Denny's in the chat. There we go, Denny. Denny, you didn't leave. You didn't leave. It's good to know. Good to know. I said hi much later in the stream. I mean, everything was done much later in the stream. Skylar, I'm guessing that was your entry. I'll give it to you. That's fine. Alrighty. Anybody? Okay, so if you come across this, you're listening to it right now, but you see everybody already post the roll call, you're probably behind on the stream. Hit the little live button right down here. That will get you to current time. You'll be 10 seconds behind me, but at least you'll be caught up. And so the next time I do roll calls, you'll be there and get an entry. I'm not gonna let someone from like an hour into the future from this stream come back and then put in let's hit the sweet spot and try to get an entry into the roll call. You got to be here at the moment that I am doing the roll calls in order to get Jesus, what the heck, to get an entry into the giveaway. My goodness, I cannot. Oh, the brain is just mush right now. Good Lord. Corey says it was really good. We don't, but really wanted to check it out. And it was discount night, so we decided to go. Tuesday nights, yeah. I've been at places that have Tuesday night discounts. Is that like with a little small bag of popcorn, like $5 movies? Ryan shows up just in the nick of time for roll call. Okay. Oh yeah, by the way, here we go. I should have mentioned this a while ago. I don't even know if it's going to really matter all that much right now, but anything that I am covering on the stream, you can follow along with. I mean, like the last pieces of information, you really can't. Like that, those filters, you won't be able to really apply. But if you go to SweetSpotDFS.com and under Fantasy Tools, you go to Cheat Sheet and Optimizer. The cheat sheet is free. This is free. You just need a free account. You don't have to pay anything to see this. And then also you can come down here and click here to access the old spreadsheets. So when I go over Marquee Tee Times, you will be able to see what the Marquee Tee Times are by following the exact same things that I do. I know this is really small on your guys' screen. If I were to zoom in, you can see a little bit better, but yeah, this is available to everyone. This is free. You just have to go to SweetSpotDFS.com in order to access it. To go along with it, the optimizer that I'm going to be building lineups with, if you go into the Fantasy Tools to the optimizer, you come here, you just type your email in here and hit request now. What reminded me of this is usually Ryan requests the optimizer. And I got some requests a little earlier in the day for the optimizer, but I had not been able to update it. Again, the whole headache, the cluster headache issues that I have, I just wasn't able to update everything quickly. But everything has been updated now, so if you do request to get the optimizer, I will be able to send it to you because I have it ready. It's available for you guys. But this is where you would come to request the optimizer. I am toying with a mailing list option. Like there might be another button on that optimizer page that you can click to never have to request an optimizer again. I'll just send it to you every single week. Like if that's something that you're interested in, I will just automatically send it to you. But we'll see. I don't know if that's something, because it's good to have people come to the website and request it. It just boosts like the stats on my website, and I think that helps algorithm stuff out. So like I might just keep it that way. But maybe in the future I'll have that. So yeah, though these things are available for you guys. I forgot to mention that. Okay. Let's get into the next piece of information. The next segment, pass optimal and GPP winning lineups. All right, this should come to no surprise. Everybody knows this segment. If you've been to SweetSpotDFS.com or if you've been to this channel before, you know exactly what I'm going to be covering. It's the most common lineup builds just of all time for the Valero Texas Open or any other, you know, any other scenario we're looking at. Here's what I'm going to do right away off the get-go. In the year 2026, okay, if I get rid of 2026, you see what the most common lineup build is. 10-9-8-7-7-6. 140 instances that has happened out of 1,124 lineups that I have captured. Now, the lineups that I've captured are the GPP winning lineup, the optimal lineup, and the sweet spot optimal. The optimal should not require much explanation. It's just the best lineup you can build. The GPP winner is either the $5 Drive the Green contest, because I always enter that to get the GPP winning lineup or winning lineup. Sometimes it's the Millie Maker. It's either or. And then also with alternate events are going to be like the $1 contest or the 10 cent or the 25 cent, like whatever I entered at that time. So just throwing that out there, just so you guys are aware. But those are the alternate events. They don't really matter that much. And plus your optimal lineup is going to be goofy as hell because everybody, go toy around with the tools and you'll see. If you want to go look at the alternate events, like their winning lineups are so goofy. It's probably not worth it. And honestly, this would be a perfect time to put the filters in for like this page. Oh, wow. It's really slow. And then you would just put in, you know, a regular event instead of alternate. Cause I have, for those events that are alternates, I stamp them with the alternate tag to go with it. But if you go and just select regular, you can see now the amount of lineups goes down to 724 because it's filtering out anything that isn't a regular event. That also includes the majors. So that's actually a really good filter to put on for this week at the Valero Texas Open. You still see the 10-9-8-7-7-6 lineup build being the most common of lineup builds. That's 13.4%. If I remove all the filters, you saw it was at like 14%. So it's about the same. The next most common lineup build is 10-9-8-7-6-6, followed by 10-9-4-7s, 10-8-8-7-7-6, 10-9, 3 sevens and a 6, 10-9-8, 7-7-7. It all kind of follows the same thing. 10-9-8, basically. You'll see that throughout a lot of these. And again, if you've followed my channel for, you know, since the beginning of time, you know this is just the thing I harp all the time. 10-9-8, 7-7-6. However, I'm going to clear out all the filters that I currently have. But however, if I just go into 2026, and the reason I'm going to drill into 2026, we have the Scotty Scheffler effect. Scotty Scheffler effect has changed pricing of top tier golfers. Scotty ends up being 14,000, which any other event prior to 2026, you would have seen, you know, anywhere between 4 to 6 golfers in the 10K range. You would see that at every single event, 4 to 10 6K golfers. And a good way to do this is if you go to pass optimal or pass optimal with GPP winning lineups, let's just go and, I mean, 2025 should work. And we put in the Valero Texas Open. This is the pass optimal and GPP winning lineup page. So pass optimal and GPP winning lineups. If we just, you know, narrow in and look at the Valero Texas Open from 2025 and we sort from salary from top to bottom, you will see there are 4 10K golfers. So far, every single week for 2026, we've seen basically 3 or less. And for this week, if I go to the cheat sheet and we take a look at this week, you're going to see there's only 2 golfers in the 10K range, 10.5 and 10.1. This kind of becomes a little bit of a volume issue. When we don't have a lot of golfers in the 10K range, the chances of that 10K range succeeding isn't very high compared to previous years. Again, if I go back to this Pass Optimal and GPP winning lineup page, it was 4 10K golfers in 2025. If I drill down into 2024, it's 4 10K plus golfers yet again. And that was with Rory being 12,300. But if I go and drill into a 2026 event, and let's look at a tournament that's already happened, like a regular field event. Let's do the WM Phoenix Open. I think this is what I want. Yeah. So now you see Scotty with Xander. That's it. Just 2 golfers that are 10K and above. That's it. This is the Scotty effect, the Scotty Scheffler effect. It has changed how salaries have looked for the year of 2026. So if I drill into 2026, look at what the most common lineup build is. Doesn't it look kind of familiar? Instead of a 10-9-8-7-7-6, we have a 9-9-8-7-7-6, 9-9-9-7-7-6. And then it's 10-8, 2 7s, 2 6s. We get more into the 10s, but you're going to see more 9K lineups that end up being more common. But yeah, this lineup here is what you would normally see as a 10-9-8-7-7-6. And then again, the next lineup probably would be a 10-9. It could be a 10-9-9 or it could be a 10-9-8, but it would have a 10K golfer. So the old jingle of 10-9-8-7-7-6 is now 9 + 9, 8, 7, 7, 6. And I know that sounds weird. It's like adding 9 + 9, but it's 9 plus, meaning a 9K golfer and up. So it could be a 10K golfer as well. It's either a 9 or a 10. And then it's another 9, 8, 7, 7, 6. So I always just say 9 plus or whatever a better number, like a better phrasing of that would be. I don't know. You guys can tell me. But it's just meant to be 9K and above. It's a 9K and above, and then a 9K, 8, 7, 7, 6. 6 times we've seen that. And if you drill into this, you can see where those lineups have resided in. 2 optimal lineups. One is the Puerto Rico Open, so that's an alternate event. We could probably ignore that. You can see the amount of money left on the table, probably not going to get there. And then you can see the rest of the lineups here. So it's a little bit of a mix. If I deselect that, one tool I like to, or one filter I like to use, drill on the little crosshairs up here and type in for salary use. So it's this little section down here is really only supposed to be used for the historic lineups page that we're currently on. You can use it at other places. It's just not going to do what you want it to do. It works best here. I like to do 49.6. That's, I didn't even explain what the SweetSpot Optimal is, but the SweetSpot Optimal is the best lineup that uses $49,600 of the salary and above, unless it's the optimal lineup. If the optimal lineup is a lineup that uses $49,600 of the salary and above, then I go to the second best lineup that uses $49,600 and above. I know that's a lot of words, but the SweetSpot Optimal, I want to leave the least amount of money on the table as possible. And 49.6 is just a good number. You can move that to 49.5, I guess, if you want. But if I just keep, again, I put this filter on just to look at lineups that use 49.6 and above. And now you can kind of see it does change the makeup of these salary builds a little bit. Not 3 9s, 2 7s, and a 6 end up being kind of the most common lineup build. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that if you look at any leaderboard in the past, any historical leaderboard, you will see a good chunk of your top 10 are 10K golfers and 9K golfers. You probably see 3 or more in that 9K and above range, basically. Well, what ends up happening is a lot of those winners are your 10K golfers, or your second place, third place golfers are 10K golfers. You might have a 9K golfer that wins, or you might have a 9K golfer that finishes second, third, or fourth with a 7K golfer winning the event. Well, if a 7K golfer wins the event and a 10K golfer is in second or third place, you're going to definitely want to play that 10K golfer with that 7K, which still gives you a lot of optionality or room to put in higher price golfers in your lineup. So those would be 9K golfers. Like that just that just happens, or that just makes sense. It's easy to get there. So that's why I think you would see a lot of 10K golfers having success when there are more 10K golfers, because those are the best golfers in the field. Whereas this year in 2026, still your best golfers in the field are at the top of the salary board. They're just not in the 10K range anymore. They're 9K because there aren't any 10K golfers. So yeah, that's why I think there's a bit of a change. So I say all of this because we have to adapt. If DraftKings is going to change salaries on us, we have to adapt. We did this even last year with the 5K range when they used to have 5K ranges. Now, this year, because there aren't as many 10K golfers, we have to adapt. And now it's 9K and above instead of a 10K golfer in that jingle of 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6. You just replace the 10 with a 9. Or in this case, 2 other 9s. It's making those 2 substitutions I used to talk about. So anyways, I think that's, I mean, I think it's obvious. When we look at this week's salary, by the way, if you drill into the buckets here and I just go down to the salary and select 2, that's your 9K range. Doing that, you can see how many golfers are in that 9K bucket. So there are 7 9K golfers this week. That's pretty simple to look at. I guess, do I have it under here too? Okay, salary range. Yeah. So I can look at all the golfers that are, you could also type in here 9,000 to say 9,900. You could do it this way as well. I just use the bucket system because I'm familiar with it. I understand it well. So that's what I use. Yeah, we can clear that out and we can just eyeball this too. I mean, 2 10K golfers with 7 9K golfers. Normally you will see anywhere between, I mean, like in the past, you would see anywhere between, I don't know, 5 to 6 9K golfers. I suppose this is where we can use the lead-in stats, right? This is beautiful to use lead-in stats. You can do the exact same thing here. Salary range, 9,000 to 9,900. And let's clear out the finish position. I don't know why. Oh, yeah, we did talk about that. So in 2025, there were 6 golfers. And I created this, or I updated this to, instead of it being a drop down, now we can just single select just to go through it quicker. In 2024, there were 6. There were 6 in 2023. 2022, there were 8. As you can see, when we look at these numbers, so there were 6 last year. We had 2 that were inside the top 20. It's okay. When there's 6, oh, I'm sorry. I was like, wait a minute. I just said 6, right? Yeah. In 2024, we had 3 golfers that finished 10th place or better. 2023, we had 6 again. We had 2 golfers that finished inside the top 10. 2022, we had 8. We had, 3 inside the top 13. 2021, you had 7 total golfers like we have this year, and you had 5 inside the top 20, including 2 inside the top 10. 2020, there was no tournament. 2019, I mean, going throughout all of these years, you can see when we have a good chunk of, 9K golfers, we see success. So I guess there's no real reason for me to believe that not going with a 9K golfer this week would I mean, let me rephrase that. I think it's well worth it to select 2 9K golfers and follow that same jingle that I just said. 9K and above, or 9 plus 9 8 7 7 6. You could also do the 3 9s and 3 7s if you wanted. I think that works here as well. But yeah, I'm not going to get too bogged down trying to, get cute with just doing a very 8K heavy lineup or a balanced build to some extent. I'm not going to shy away from playing Fleetwood or Oberg. Like, they're in my 9K plus range, But at the same time, I'm also not going to shy away from playing 3 9K golfers. I just went through all those years and it looks like 9Ks are just fine to select from. But yeah, anyways, with historic salary builds, I mean, you can go ahead and drill into the Valero Texas Open and we can see what type of lineup builds have worked well here. I just know, did you see the optimal lineup selection was removed from the top up here? That only happens because of the filter we put on. There hasn't been an optimal lineup that is $49,600 of the salary and above. If I clear this, or I can move this all the way to the beginning, now we get our optimal lineups back. But if I drill down an optimal lineup and you see the salary used, you can see a ton of money, except for 2024. Ooh, I should update the ownership. I didn't even see that. That's most likely a formula error as to why that's a 0%. But either way, I mean, leaving $5,000 on the table is pretty ridiculous. Yeah, I'm not going to look at optimal lineups for the Valero Texas Open because I'm not leaving that amount of money on the table. So I'm coming in here to the salary used, making it 49.6. And these are the only lineups I really care to look at. The GPP winning lineup and the SweetSpot optimal. 10-9-8, 7-7-6, 10-9, 3-7s and a 6, 10-8-8. Well, these all tie for 1, but your most common lineup builds were the ones I just said, 10-9-8 or 10-9-7. So basically they all have a 10K golfer, a 9K golfer, 2 7s and a 6. But like I just stated, the Scottie Scheffler effect has changed how many 10K golfers are in a field. Now I will look at this as like a 9-9-8, 7-7-6, and go from there. I still will play 10K golfers, don't get me wrong, but yeah, you should feel more comfortable, you know, putting multiple 9K golfers in your lineup. Also, another thing to look at are the summary boxes here. Out of all of the lineups that I have recorded for the Valero Texas Open, this dates back to, what, 2017? And you can see the lineups right down here as to what was recorded. So whether it was a GPP winning lineup or a SweetSpot optimal, out of all of those lineups that used $49,600 of the salary and above, 76% of those lineups had a 10K golfer in them. 92% of them had a 9K golfer in them. If you just look here, we can figure out which one did not have a 9K golfer. It was just one lineup, and it was a 10-8-8 and 3 7s. Just one. If you drill down into it, you can see which one it was. It was a SweetSpot optimal from last year. So if you wanted to look at who those golfers were, you would select 2025. We'll clear out the WM Phoenix Open and put in the Valero. And what lineup was that again? It was the SweetSpot optimal. So you can just drill right into the SweetSpot optimal button and you will see which golfers were in that SweetSpot optimal. It shows you the salary used, the points scored, and the total ownership. So it was 69.5%. So obviously I need to update that other tool. But either way, here were the golfers. 10-1 Corey Connors. Course history staple there. $8,900 Keith Mitchell. Pretty darn close to the 9K range. $8,100 Mav McNeely. $7,600 Ryan Gerard. $7,500 Andrew Novak. $7,500 Brian Harmon. So there you go. That's how you get to that lineup. Okay. I don't think I really have anything else to say when it comes to pass optimal and GPP winning lineups. If you are curious, come to SweetSpotDFS.com and check out these tools. Do your own research and get down to the bottom of what lineup build works best for you. I think it's going to be a lot of the same things when there isn't Scottie Scheffler in the field, and even if when there is, because the lack of 10K golfers, it just really lends itself to starting your lineups with a 9K golfer. And when you do that, obviously now you have you have more salary to work with. So you can put higher price golfers in your lineup, and it doesn't really require you to have to go down to the 6K range. I do think, I mean, this is another way you can do this too, by the way. If you went into the pass optimal and GPP winning lineups and you put in Valero Texas Open, and we go up here and we just look at, let's say, DK top 10s. Like if that's all that I care about, it's going to filter out every golfer that isn't inside the top 10 of DraftKings points. And then from here, what we could do Oh, good Lord. Last year, there's not even a 10K golfer, or there's not even a 9K golfer above. It's even in this list. But if you wanted to look at that, let's see, where would I want to really find this? I think right here, under salary. If you just want to look at all of the golfers that are $9,000 and above, you just go up into this filter, the fantasy stats filter for salary, X out, and now you will see every year. I mean, it doesn't look good. Wow. Does that mean back in 2019 and beyond, we did not have 9K golfers that finish inside the top 10? I mean, okay, so the reason that I pulled this up is if you went year by year, we had 4 golfers that were 9K and above in 2024. You had 3 golfers that were 9K and above in 2023. 1 golfer in 2022, but 3 golfers in 2021. So 21, 22, 23, 24, 20, and not 25. Wow. Yeah, it doesn't really help, I suppose. But again, we're looking at DK top 10s. So if I deselect DK top 10s and we take a look a little bit better, we can see every single year. And maybe it's best to drill down into each year just to get a good sense of how successful 9K golfer and above, 9K and above have been at this event. You know, last year you had 2 golfers in the GPP winning lineup, Jordan Spieth being one of them. He was 12th overall. He was not in the DK top 10. He was in the DK top 20, but that's it for golfers in DK top 10 or DK top 20. But Keegan Bradley was also in the GPP winning lineup last year, and he was $9,500. He finished 47th place. So all this tells me is this tournament is volatile enough that you don't have to be perfect in order to take down a GPP. I also really wouldn't go fishing that much. Here's actually what I really wanted to do. We will want to go year by year, but what I'm going to do is go back into the fantasy stats filter. I'm going to put this at, you know, I guess the stone min of 5, or we can put this down to 0, I guess, and change this to 6,900 for the max. And now we can look at every year how many golfers from the 6K range. And I guess we can also put this filter on here again, DK top 10s or how about DK top 20s? Let's do DK top 20s. So in 2025, out of that 6K range, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 golfers that were in the DK top 20. That just means they're in the top 20 of DK points scored for 2025. If I go into 2024, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 golfers. Lonto Griffin was a DK top 10 golfer, and he finished 51st place. He scored 86.5 points. Holy moly, in 51st place. Oh my God. Holy crap. 2023, there were only 4. This is kind of what I wanted to see. Because yeah, 6K golfers look good to select, but you got to remember total, like how many you usually have inside the 6K range, whether that's low 6 or high 6, it's going to be like 70 golfers, 70. Usually you have 35 or 40-35, something around that number for high 6K, low 6K. And out of 70, you know, we have 6 in 2025. 2024, there were more, so that's a good number still. I mean, 10% or less, you know, that's pretty much what I'm getting at. In 2023, we only had 4 6K and above. 2022, you had 6. 2021, you had 4. 2019, I guess I have 0. Why? Did I not? Oh, you know what? I probably did not have DK points. That's probably what it was. Do I have finishing position here at all? Oh, I do. Okay, perfect. Okay, so 20. Let's go 1 to 20. And then in salaries, let's go again 0 to 6,900. And now I can go to 2019 and we can see golfers who finished inside the top 20 that were in the 6K range. Scott Scheffler was there, by the way. Interesting. And he was in the GPP winning lineup in 2019. Oh my goodness, I didn't even see that. 2 golfers from the 6K range in the GPP winning lineup. 2018, looks like there were 7. 2017, there's a good chunk of 6K golfers. So earlier years definitely reigned supreme with 6K golfers. As I come through, now I have the filters set just a little bit different. Looking at just top 20 finishers, it's spotty. So I'm going through this just to remind each and every one of you to not fall in love with the 6K golfer, but also not respect one, or not disrespect one. Jesus. Said that one backwards. Yeah, don't fall in love with the 6K golfer, but also don't disrespect one, because you might want to put one or, yeah. Now that I see this, I'm kind of really leaning towards the 998-776 lineup build, or 9+98776. Kind of like that. It actually makes me want to play more Ludwig and Tommy Fleetwood, who are 10K golfers and above. Gives me a little bit more confidence playing those golfers. All right. Good night. What's going on, man? By the way, I'm done with the Pass Optimal and GPP lineup, so I'm going to check chat before moving on to the next segment. How many times 9, 4 8s, and a 6? Is that because you are building? That's what your lineup was before coming to the stream? Jesus. Well, AJ, what you could do is go to SweetSpotDFS.com, and while you are here, under golfer 1, put 9. Under golfer 2, put 8. And under golfer 3, put 8. Golfer 4, put 8. And golfer 5, put 8. There you go. 7 times. 7 times out of 1,400. 7 lineups out of 1,400 lineups. And it looks like, I don't think I have it. Oh, I do. Never mind. Hold on. I didn't know I had the salary use part, but it doesn't really change. It goes from 7 to 8. 7 to 8 when I allow a lineup that leaves a little bit more money on the table, which 49.5 isn't that much. So there you go. A 9, 4 8s, and a 6. Not many in the past, in the recent history. The last time this happened was 2021 Procore. 2021 Procore. Denny says, just getting to the good stuff, but I'll check back in the morning. All right, sir. Wheels Up says, just a bunch of players. Which is your favorite of my player pool? Also, which is your least favorite? Okay. Is Homa in the field this week? My favorite out of your group is probably Straka. My least favorite is Suber, which I know you like Suber. But my second least favorite would be Homa. As much as I thought Homa was actually going to turn it back around, he just kind of went back into a slump. Like, or not so much a slump, but just, I don't know. I've never really liked Homa's golf swing. I've never really liked Homa's game. He just got hot at certain times and won tournaments. But I feel like what you see from him now is exactly what I saw from him from the beginning. He is 7K Homa. Okay. Good night. What's going on, man? Nice to see you. Good evening, chat, and Eric. Hey, Eric, who do you not like for this tournament this week? Name 4. Okay. Name 4 golfers that I don't like. I'm going to go by price, because price has to factor into this as well. 4 golfers that I don't like, or I don't care for, I should say. Starting at the top. I like everybody pretty much 9K and above. I don't really have, like, Hideki. Hideki's either going to come to this event and get hot and stay in it, or he's going to play poorly and just, you know, whatever. He's prone to withdraw from this event. Byron and I looked at this on Sunday, especially before the Masters. So it's like, I don't trust Hideki at this event. It doesn't mean I won't play him. Doesn't mean I won't play him. But yeah, he'd be on a short honorable mentions list. If I keep scrolling down, I would also tell you I don't care for Michael Thorbjornsen, but this is a golf course I think he can do well at. But yeah, he might be overpriced. Fowler, with how bad the weather is going to be, I don't really care for him this week. I don't care for JJ Spawn either. Like, he just hasn't been playing great, and yeah, I mean, it's my dislike for him is warranted, I believe. So that's already 4 that I just gave you, but 2 of them were like questionable. So who else do I not care for down here? I don't care for Brian Harmon, although if it's going to be like, you know, blistery and really windy, apparently that's now his MO. The worse the weather conditions are, the better he plays. Will Zalatoris would probably be another golfer that it's on my short list. Hey, if you've been battling, you know, back injury, you're basically battling your back, like, he's got a really weak back. He's had to have surgery on it a couple times. I don't feel confident in him whatsoever. He is a Texas boy, and this is a Texas event. I think this has a lot of pride. Like, he has a lot of pride in playing well, and he did okay last week at the Houston Open. But he just didn't finish strong that Friday. So maybe he will play okay. But yeah, he's on. Yeah, I would put him on my list that I don't really want to play. Yeah, okay. I mean, that's 4. That's more than 4. Jaeger's also on that list. Finau's also on that list. Those are golfers I don't really care for. So yeah, I gave you a little bit more than 4, but there you go. And you came in too late. Good night for the let's hit the sweet spot. Okay. I was thinking about that. Maybe I'll give you credit. We'll see. I'll think about it. But anyways, moving on to the bucket system. Again, we're going to look at our projections, and then we're going to determine are they correct or not, and then go from there. All right. With this bucket system, now, if you didn't already know, on the optimizer, I have all of the bucket conditionals in here. And the bucket conditionals, where you can find those, are on the cheat sheet, by the way. I'm also going to show you from my page as well. So when it comes to all of this, I will show you. We're talking about the max projection, the min projection. But on the cheat sheet, if you scroll down and you go to this cheat sheet here, you click this button here, a new page will open up. And from here, there's a tab down at the bottom called the bucket system. And there's a filter up here that is also called the bucket system. Let me zoom in a little bit for you guys. I'll zoom in a bit, I guess. And you can find the projection buckets here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each of the buckets for this week, and we're going to determine if we should play these golfers or not, based on, or not so much if we should. We're going to look at the projections and determine, are these golfers good enough to play? And then see if those projections hold, or just if they're good or not. So anyways, I'm going to use the cheat sheet on the website to do this. This to me is going to be the easiest way to filter through everything. But at the same time, like I said, I'm going to use these projections right here. And if I zoom in, we're just going to look at the last year bucket first. And I guess I'll add a filter on here as well. To make it clean on your guys' side, this is what we're going to do. We're going to start with the last year bucket. Now on the cheat sheet, and I'm going to go back and forth. So this first last year 1 bucket is 1 to 3. So when we go to the cheat sheet on the website, What you can do is just drill right into this bucket, and we're going to look at last year ones first. And these are all the golfers that finished inside the top 20 last year. I do have this sorted by salaries. What I don't have are the SweetSpot ranks on this page. If you want to check out the SweetSpot ranks, all you would do on your side is, again, the spreadsheet is free for you guys. So you take this projection, we look at, last year ones, you go to the dream sheet, go into DraftKings, the filter DraftKings, sort this by salary top to bottom, and under this last year column, which is under column E, clear everything out and just select last year one. And you get the same, you can look at the same golfers that I'm currently looking at. There are 18 total golfers. If you want to see what their finishing position is, you just have to scroll over to the right on the little scroll bar down at the bottom, and that should help you out. I can hide this to show more. But this is where you can also see the same information. And this is how you would filter out. But honestly, the website is so much better to do this with. 18 total golfers, 3 inside the top 50 of the OWGR, 57 total strength of field points. Remember, the projection for this bucket is 1 to 3. So first of all, when we look at this, can we determine we want to play at least one of these golfers? Personally, I'm actually going to, let me rewind back a little bit. I am going to clear the filters I already put on here. I am then going to show you, if I sort by course history and we look at all of the golfers on the list, this is 25 golfers. If I go down to Andrew Novak down here that you barely can see on the screen, it's showing you 25 golfers. His course history is 38.75. So let's just remember 39. I mean, we could use 40, I guess. 40 is a clean number we can use. I'm just adding, I guess, I'm adding 2 additional golfers to this list. If I sort from recent form from top to bottom, 39.75 ends up being my cutoff point for recent form. Now, why did I do that? This is what Byron and I have been doing. We've been finding an elite grouping of golfers that have good course history and good recent form. So basically what I would do is go into the fantasy stats filter that's up here, little crosshairs. And remember what I just said, 40 and 40 pretty much. So 40 for course history and 40 for recent form. And this is going to get our, I do have to actually remove these golfers that have no course history. So what I'm going to do is drill into the bucket here and just select 1 and 2 for course history. That leaves 6 out, and 6 means there's no course history. I don't know why the filters don't pick that up. It just kind of ignores it for whatever reason. But here are the golfers in that elite group. And I'll sort by salary from top to bottom. So it's Tommy Fleetwood, Bobby Mack, Siwoo Kim, Jordan Spieth, Hideki, Mav McNeely. So these golfers are already on my list of golfers I want. Even Keith Mitchell's in this group. Like, these golfers are already in my short list of golfers that I want to play. And if you're wondering, like, why does this really matter? Byron and I went through this Sunday night when we did our preview show. And basically what we did is we went to the lead and stats page for each of these years and pretty much just looked at the exact same thing. You can find kind of the same filters here. The lead and stats here, you can find on the cheat sheet that I was just showing you, and you could put in those same numbers. 40 and 40 is kind of what we ended up doing. So 40 course history, 40 recent form. And then again, let's remove the guys that have 0 course history. I guess let me show you what it looks like with 0 course history. Like, yeah, we had Sammy Valimaki play pretty well here last year with no course history. But, I don't really have to look. If I go throughout every year, remember, it keeps in each of the filters, and you can just select every year and just look. I'm just going to remove, like, this doesn't look good, right? No course history, no event, and you have all of these missed cuts and whatever. I don't really care to keep, the 0 course history guys. It's just, it's more challenging to keep track of. So what I'm going to do is go into here and just select course history 1, course history 2. That way I have golfers that have course history. and it removes all of the golfers without. So again, if I go through 2025, now for me, I would much rather see more golfers inside the top 10. We obviously don't see that, and I could open this up. If you guys want to open it up for course history and recent form, we could open up to 45 like we did on stream, and we're going to find a bit more success for some of these buckets. Not this year. I guess I just saw this year did not update the way we wanted it to. So I'm going to go back to 40 and 40. Just that's an easy number. 2 golfers that finished inside the top 20 that were 9K and above. If I go to 2024, we have a 10K golfer and an 8K golfer, but we also have $9,400 Corey Connors. Now, what we learned about this event going through the Pass Optimal and GPP winning lineups is that you could have a 9K golfer that finished 47th place and be in the GPP winning lineup. I showed that on stream just not too long ago. So like, you know, that can happen. So the fact that some of these guys are in this 20 to 50 place finish isn't as scary as I originally talked about it with Byron. But I do like seeing the green up here. So 87, 10, 6. This is that elite grouping, remember? 2023, there aren't a lot of golfers here, but they all made the cut, finished 10th place and 239th places, 9,700 and 10,200. Go to 2022. We have a 13th place finish in Siwoo, 9,600, and then 2 other 9K golfers, 35th and 35th. 2021, we got a big group of golfers that were 9K and above. 1 golfer that was 8K that were in this. Like, also, we can look at the numbers up here. There's summaries up here that we can take a look at. There wasn't an event in 2020, so we skipped to 2019. 8 total golfers that follow this elite mix. 2 finished inside the top 10. 2 finished inside the top 20. So basically all I'm getting at, this elite grouping, you know, if we look at the total amount of golfers if I scroll through this, by the way, what I'd actually do, I said this on the Sunday stream. So if we look at 2023, you saw that there weren't a lot of golfers, right? You basically would just sort by course history. Let's get rid of the golfers that don't have course history. God, there's got to be a way to do that. That's easier than 1. How about 1.1? There we go. Figured it out. Or can I just put 1 in there and then? Okay, so 1. How about 1.01? Sure. Okay, we figured it out. Good. Okay. But yeah, if we sort by course history, the best in the field that's on this first page, I guess on this first page is different than the cheat sheet, but I could scroll down. This one goes down to 45 pretty much. And then if we do recent form, this one would go down to probably 47, it looks like. So then what I would end up doing is under course history, I'd go like 47. I'd probably do 47, 47. And this would be the elite grouping for this year. And if I sort by finishing position, there you have it. It changes because I'm looking at the top course history guys and the top recent form guys. That changes. You can't just do a base number for every single year. You're not going to get, you know, consistency. I'm looking for consistency as in who are the top course history guys at this event and who are the top recent form golfers together. Like those stats, I want them. I want that combination of the best course history and the best recent form. What does that look like? That's our elite grouping. So now 2023, you saw it had Ricky Fowler and Siwoo and Kevin Chappell. That was it when it was just 40-40. Well, now if I change the course history and recent form to match what I've done in previous years, where we're looking at the top 25 of course history along with the top 25 of recent form, and then just looking at, you know, which golfers have both of those numbers, that creates our elite grouping, and that ends up having a few more golfers that we can look at for 2023. So that's a whole long-winded way of saying, looking at these golfers here, the elite grouping here, I know I can select anywhere between basically 2 to 4 golfers. I would say 2 to 3. I want to select, like, if you guys are thinking about anchoring your lineups around golfers, I mean, I think it's easy. 8,700 and above. That's it. That is it. $8,700 and above. So 9K, 10K. And then, you know, if you want to sprinkle in Kevin Mao and Kevin, or William Mao and Kevin Streelman, go for it. But yeah, Keith Mitchell and above, I think is just fine. Just fine. So sorry for that rant, but if I scroll back and we go into bucket 1 for last year, and we look at the top priced guys, we get Jordan Spieth in that elite grouping, we get Mav McNeely in that elite grouping, we get Keith Mitchell in that elite grouping. Do I have anybody else that I can just recognize that's in that elite grouping? I guess I don't. It would be William Mao and Kevin Streelman would be the only other guys I would look at, and they're not here. So those 3 golfers alone, I'm not saying play all 3 of them, but the fact that 3 of them are in this last year bucket 1, and we look at the projections and we see for last year 1, it is 1 to 3. I feel pretty confident to play at least 1 golfer from this. That was a long-winded way of telling you I'm going to actually change what I had as 0 to 3 to 1 to 3. And I actually am going to change my exposure levels, by the way, for Jordan Spieth to 33%, Mav McNeely to 33%, and then I'm going to keep everyone else the same. Because I would much rather the optimizer select between one of these 2 golfers. And in all honesty, I don't have to just stick to those guys, despite them being the golfers that are in that elite grouping and also in this last week or this last year bucket 1. That's fine. That's fine. Anybody in that elite grouping can be your anchor plays, which means any of these golfers outside of Jordan Spieth, Mav McNeely, and Keith Mitchell. If you want to put Rio in your lineup, beautiful. If you want to put Denny in your lineup, beautiful. That's okay. But the fact that these 3 golfers are in the elite grouping and this projection's 1 to 3 makes me want to keep 1 to 3. That's all I'm trying to say. I want to keep 1 to 3. I think that's fine. Last year 2s, 0 to 2. Let's take a look. Again, just go into the bucket. Select last year 2, deselect last year 1, so only 2 is highlighted. We take a look at these golfers. Do we like any of them? I mean, it's $8,800 Ricky Fowler and then a bunch of golfers down here. Some good ones. William Mao was in that elite grouping, but nobody here tells me I want to play at least one of these guys. So that 0 to 2 ranking is just fine. Just fine. 0 to 2 last year 3s. Again, go into the bucket, select last year 3, deselect last year 2. And we take a look at this. Are there any golfers that we absolutely have to play? The answer is no. So we're going to keep that 0 to 2 bucket the same and move on to the last year 4 bucket. I'll just preload that. I mean, there's 4 guys here. Tommy Fleetwood being one of them. If I go to the projection, 0 to 2. So yeah, there's no more. I mean, there's not more than 2 golfers that I want to select from this bucket. You know, it's 10-5 Tommy, and then it goes down to $6,200 EVR, Peter Malnati, and Pat Kazire. There's no way I want to play more than 2 of these guys. No more. So that's an easy one. That's the projection is just fine at 0 to 2. We come into last year 5s. These are golfers who all missed the cut, and you can see that by the 85 that's represented under last year. The projection for this bucket's 1 to 3. So normally we see 30 golfers, or 31 golfers, I should say. We have 30 this year. If I go into the cheat sheet, are there enough golfers here that I want to play at least 1? The answer is yes. We've got Ludwig in this bucket, Siwoo, and Hideki Matsuyama. Those 3 alone, I know I want to play at least 1. But we have Michael Thorbjornsen, who's also, I mean, he's pretty darn close to 9,000. So the 4 top price guys here, all of them I could make very solid considerations to play. So therefore, I'm going to keep that projection for this bucket at 1. I will say this, actually. I might change it to 0. Here's my thought process behind this. This is where we got to be thoughtful about this. if we're not going to play Ludwig, if we're not anchoring our lineups around Ludwig, if we're not anchoring around Siwoo, Hideki, or Michael Thorbjornsen, why would we make this bucket projection a 1? There are 30 total golfers in this bucket, like I said before. So with 30 total golfers, if we take out 4, that means there's 26. Is that enough volume for the rest of the golfers in the bucket to just find 1? All we need to do is just find 1 to make that minimum projection a 1. Otherwise, we kind of find ourselves in an old Scotty Scheffler ruling. If Scotty Scheffler's in the bucket, we actually drop the projection by 1 because he's most likely going to finish inside the top 10. And I'm talking about Scotty, you know, whenever he's in a tournament, he's most likely going to finish inside the top 10, which means he single-handedly is going to be the one in that 1 to 3 projection. But if he doesn't play well enough to be in a lineup that can take down a GPP, then you wouldn't want to play him. So that drops that projection from 1 to 3 down to 0 to 2 or 0 to 3. You know, like I don't mind keeping it at 3, but we want to drop that minimum down. So this is where I haven't been as thoughtful in the past. This is where I'm going to be thoughtful this year or with this going forward. Do I want to make sure one of my lineups has either Ludwig in it, Siwoo, Hideki, or Michael Thorbjornsen? That's the question. I don't mind if 80% of my lineups have any one of these golfers in it. And if that's the case, then I have to make the what's the word I'm looking for? I guess I have to make the determination of the if I keep this projection at 1. Remember, it means we have to select 1 golfer from this bucket. There are 30 in it. We're removing 4. That means there's 26 remaining for the last 20%. That means I want to play one of these guys at least once. Now, can I make arguments to not play any of these guys? Probably. I would drop down to the bottom of the list. Jimmy Walker, do I want to play him? No. Ryan Palmer, do I want to play him? No. Would I take a shot on Nick Hardy? Yes. Would I take a shot on Adam Schenk? No. So that's 3 golfers I wouldn't play. I would play Jackson Suber, despite what I had said earlier in the stream about out of Logan's list of golfers. I didn't care for him, but I will play Jackson Suber because he does have potential. Paul Waring or Paul Waring, however you say his last name. I heard it twice last week, and I haven't even went in to look. He's 40-some years old. No, I don't want to play him. So here, Jimmy Walker's 1. Ryan Palmer's 2. Adam Schenk's 3. Paul Waring's 4. Charlie Hoffman is 5 that I don't want to play. I don't mind playing Justin Lauer. That's fine. Danny the Daywalker. That's fine. I do like Mark Hubbard. I like Takumi Kanaya. Webb Simpson, I mean, he just finished 18th not too long ago. What was this, at the Players? Is that for real? Did it go from the Houston to the Players? I don't remember off the top of my head. Anyways, I don't mind playing him. Joel Damon, oh man, I don't want to play Joel Damon, but I'm just going to say no, just to say no. That's 6 that I don't want to play. Bronson Burguni, I don't mind. Chris Ventura, sure. Vince Whaley, sure. Putnam, sure. Power, sure. Hodges, sure. Max Homa, sure. Even though I don't like him, I'll play him in 1 lineup. Don't have an issue with that. Tom Kim, sure. Chris Kirk, sure. Max McGreevy, yes. I do want to play him. Rico Hoey, yes. I want to play him. Alex Smalley, I don't mind. And Rico Castillo, yeah. So here's what I would do. With this bucket, basically, I want this all to equal 100% for exposure. And that's what I would go and change technically with the rest of these golfers. So I have to keep in mind Oberg, Siwoo, Matsuyama, and Thorbjornsen. Okay. I don't want Thorbjornsen in 20% of my lineups. 16 is fine. So now with the remaining 3 golfers, which again, I already forgot, Ludwig, Siwoo, Hideki. Okay. I want them over 20%, which I already have with Oberg at 27%. Siwoo is at 20%, so that's fine. I don't mind that. And Hideki's at 18%. If I actually total all these guys up currently, it's at 81%. I don't have to make any changes for my original. That's awesome. I like when things work out that way. So, yep, I will keep this bucket a 1 to 3. Like I said, I'm being very thoughtful. I'm being very thorough with the bucket conditionals because I don't want to screw up my lineups. I don't want to make my lineups worse by just blindly following the formulas that go into the projections. I actually want to look at the golfers and determine if they're good enough for me to want to anchor around. Okay. I'm going to close out of that. I don't want to see that anymore. So the next bucket is this last year's 6 bucket, 2 to 5. That's a big number, 2 to 5. I'm going to go into this bucket, select 6, deselect 5, and take a look. Uh, 2 to 5. Here's, again, this is the question we're going to have to ask ourselves. Looking at the top price golfers, how many of these guys do we want to anchor around? Now, last year's 6s are just golfers who did not play last year. It does not matter if they have course history or not. It's just golfers who did not play last year. Bobby Mack, Russell Henley, Sepp Straka, Alex Noren, JJ Spawn, Sudarshan Yellow Miraju, Johnny Kiefer, and Nick Taylor kind of make up that 8K and above range. Do we want to play at least 2 of these guys? You know what? I'm not even going to really go through the entire list because I see a lot of good names that I could see the potential to play 2. Now, here's what I'll say. 9,200 and above, I think these guys we would probably want at least 20% and above. Sepp Straka, Henley, and McIntyre. So I'm going to make that change right now if I don't already have it. So Sepp Straka was at 18%. We'll make that 20%. Henley's already at 20%, perfect, and Bobby Mack's already at 20%. I'm going to do 20.1, 20.1, and 20.1. This is kind of your cheat code to kind of trick the optimizer to think, because if it's at 20%, it won't pick it. That's 1 out of 5 lineups, but then it will pick it when it gets down to like 18 or 16%. And I'd just much rather it, even if it gets that 5th lineup, consider Sepp Straka. So yeah, I think this is fine. And this 2 to 5, or yeah, this 2 to 5 projection, I think is great. Look at the golfers that we get to select from or have the optimizer select from. I think anyone in the 8K range could match up with 2 9K golfers absolutely fine, or even 3 9K golfers. Like, maybe not. Never mind. I wouldn't want a 3 9s and 1 8. Like that probably isn't going to work out. But then if you look at the 7K range, I don't mind Marco Penge this week or Jordan Smith. I don't want to play Will Zalatoris, and in fact, right now I'm going to do this. We're going to do this right now. Will Zalatoris, my exposure for him is going to go down to 6%. That's 1 out of 16 lineups. That is absolutely fine by me. I do not want to play too much of him. He's a liability, especially with bad weather. Like, why would he be there? If it, yeah. Anyways, Davis Thompson don't really care for. Jaeger don't really care for. McCarty don't really care for. I don't mind Bezzy. I do like John Perry. I don't mind Haotong. I don't mind Christopher Wrighton. Adrian Dumont Dejassar. I don't mind him. You know. Okay, AJ, I don't mind ADDC, okay? The Glacier. I don't mind him. Marty Doe, sure, that's fine. I really like Austin Smotherman, especially coming back from, you know, his wife having a baby. He was hot fire before his withdrawal 4 weeks ago and his missed cut 2 weeks ago. I think the missed cut really was from his wife being pregnant and just, I don't know. We can speculate all we want. There's also enough 6K golfers that I would absolutely play. So yes, I mean, there's 60 golfers in this bucket. It's pretty easy to have that that projection to be 2 to 5. I think that's absolutely fine. Okay, going to last week, 0 to 1. Actually, you know what? Before we do this, let's do a roll call. Give me your winner this week. Give me your winner this week. There you go. We are hour 2. Said I wasn't going to go for 3 hours, and I'm already at hour 2. Oh my God. If honestly, before the beginning of the stream, if I told you a time limit I was going to put on this, it was going to be 2 hours. It's going to be 2 hours, but here we are. We're not even halfway through the video, pretty much. Spieth, like that. LBD Titan says Brian Harmon. That is wow. Wow. Corey goes with Rio, the assassin. Hadouken! Oh, Razor with Siwoo. I got something for you too, man. Good night with Sudarshan. Okay. I mean, that would be crazy, honestly, to have Sudarshan, his first event. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter about this tournament and debutantes. Like, I guess it doesn't really matter. Okay. I will give, like, 3 more minutes for anybody else that wants to do the giveaway. For the roll call, again, make sure you're live. Hit the live button right down here. End the stream for your health when it feels right. I know. No. I mean, there's no way I wouldn't finish what I want to finish, to be honest with you. I'm feeling good. Okay. Let's move on to, I missed Lee. Thank you. Where was Lee? Oh, Jordan Spieth. Yeah. I'm sorry, Lombardi. And thank you, AJ. There we go. Cool. 0 to 2 last week ones. All right. So we go back to the cheat sheet. And I'm going to clear out the last year buckets. So everything is selected. We go into last week 1 now. Look at that. How easy that is. 12 total golfers. Nobody inside the top 50 of the OWGR. Do we want to make sure we anchor around someone? Should we move this bucket to 0 to 3? I think there's enough question marks to not do that. I think 0 to 2 is just fine. Looking at the names here, there are some fantastic names, by the way. But yeah, I'd rather limit myself. With, they're all young. Most of them are young, or some of these guys are a little bit older that aren't going to offer what word am I looking for? I'm thinking about, like, they're not going to be a good rock to put in your lineup. They're not a good one to anchor your lineups around. Anchor, I guess. So yeah, I mean, Keith Mitchell, by the way, is in the elite grouping. So more reasons to play Keith Mitchell. He's got that great course history with that great recent form. So I'm not going to anchor any. This is never going to be a 1 out of 2. It won't be a 1 out of 3 for me because I really don't want to play more than 3 of these guys. But 2 is a good max. Yeah, okay, that's cool. Last week 2s, 0 to 2. Let's go back into here. Select last week 2s. Deselect last week 1s. Take a look. All 7K and below. That's easy. 0 to 2. That works for me. Last week 3s. 0 to 2 for this one as well. Okay. So again, do the same thing. Select 3, deselect 2. All 7K and below. Again, easy. Make that a 0 to 2. No one's above 7K. Everyone is 7K and below. So yeah, that makes sense. Last week 4 is 0-2. I'm not even gonna look at that one. I already know it's 0-2. I already know. 10 golfers in that bucket, or yeah, 10 buckers. We know 10 golfers in that bucket. Jesus. And then we see 7 typically. 0-2 is fine. 0-3. This is too low, but we can try to make an argument to make this a 1-3 bucket if it follows, or if there's enough good golfers in it. So cheat sheet bucket. Last week 5s. Remember, we skipped over last week 4s, but we can take a look at this really quick. Yeah, 6K and below. Yeah, easy 0-2 bucket. Last week 5s, only Fowler's 8K and above, and then it's just a bunch of golfers that are questionable, to be quite honest with you. This is a 0-3 bucket for me, guys. This is 0-3, and I have it here as 0-3. The next bucket's going to be 3-6. It's like 3-7. But obviously you can't put 7 golfers in your lineup. So the question is, like, are we going to really anchor our lineups around 3, or do we need to drop it down to 2? So last week 6s, we take a look. 10-5, 10-1, 9-9, 9-8, 9-7, or 9-6, 9-5, 9-3, 9-2, 9,000. So, I mean, Mav McNeely and Jordan Spieth are my favorites already. I also really like Russell Henley. So the fact that those 3 9K golfers you could put in a lineup and build a pretty decent lineup. Like you could go 999, 776 and be absolutely fine. And I like that quite a bit. Now, for some of the guys in the chat, you guys, I mean, like Rio's here for you guys. What else? Brian Harmon, 7,500. Yellow Miraju is not in this one. Never mind. I was going to say he could be one of them. I don't think Brian Harmon played last week, right? Yeah, he's right here. Brian Harmon. So for those cheaper golfers, you can anchor around 2 other golfers that are in this list. Let's look at I mean, like anybody 9K and above, easy to go with. If we look at 8K and below, so Noren, could we anchor around him? We certainly could. JJ Spawn, I wouldn't recommend it. Rio, I know somebody in the chat likes Rio winning this week. Sure, Rio seems fine. Nick Taylor seems fine. Harmon, I'm not a fan, but if you like him, perfect. McCarty, probably not. Andrew Novak, I kind of like Andrew Novak this week. I like Bud Cauley. I know he just withdrew not too long ago, so be on the lookout for that. Really like Austin Smotherman. Max Homa being 7K flat is just a good price for a past winner. I don't hate it. I don't care for Max Homa, but you know, I'm not really crossing him off my list. Same goes with any of these 6K golfers down here. Kevin Streelman, by the way, is in the elite grouping. Throwing that one out there, but I don't think I'm gonna try that hard to play Kevin Streelman. But the question is, can we anchor around 3 golfers? And I think we can. It's very easy to anchor around 2 of the guys from 9K and above, and then just let the optimizer select anybody else. You know what? No, that's not true. That is not true. That is not true. That is not true. No, this is a real good question to ask ourselves. What is the likelihood that we are going to put 3 golfers that are even going to fit in a lineup? Because like, it's easy to say, oh, 3 of these guys, 9K and above. Yeah, but the chances are you can't put a lineup together with 3 9K and above golfers and then fit everything else out with the bucket system. So if we start our lineups, let's say with Tommy Fleetwood, let's say Tommy Fleetwood, Mav McNeely are the 2 golfers that we want to anchor our lineups around. What is the likelihood that okay, so 10-5 and 9,000. What is the likelihood that we can put one of these AK golfers in our lineups? I guess let's do this really quick. Let's go Tommy Fleetwood and Mav McNeely. I'll hit the run optimizer. I already have 3-6 in here. So who was the other golfer it gave us? It gave us Russell Henley with a 7K and 2 6s. What I actually am going to do is let's not do 2 6s. Let's just do a max of 1 6K golfer. See what happens. Still stays the same. Chandler Phillips of all. No. Nope, that's not good enough. So a lineup like this, 10, 9, and 4 7s, that was one of those common lineup builds that we looked at past optimal and GPP winning lineups, but I don't want Brian Harman. Personally, I don't. I know there's someone in chat that does. I don't. Rio into Nick Taylor. That's 4 last week's 6s. Do we like this lineup? Bezzy's here as well. I don't know. Let's take a look. So Hisatsune and Nick Taylor are going to be selected. What if we didn't like Hisatsune or Nick Taylor? What else can you give me, Optimizer? Kevin Streelman, the elite grouping, $6,300. That's kind of funny. Mark Hubbard. So yeah, these types of lineups actually do work. And it's now I get $9,200 Sepp, who did not play last week. So there's 3 golfers right here. That's with the most expensive 10K golfers. So there is absolutely room to do 3 out of 6. These are all fantastic lineups. Okay. Duly noted. Well, that was a long-winded way of saying, yeah, 3 out of 6 is a good projection for this bucket. We saw a bunch of lineups building with 4. Okay. Moving on to course history. Course history buckets. 0 to 2 course history 1s. The only question to answer here is, do we want to play more than 2? So we select course history 1, take a look at the golfers. The answer is no. Norin Mitchell, Olesen, SH Kim, Semi Valimaki. No, there's no reason to play more than 2. Go into here, 1 to 4 course history 2s. Now, this is actually worth mentioning because these are going to be the big chunk of golf, like lineups or golfers to put in the lineups. 1 to 4 and 2 to 5. So 1 to 4 course history 2s. So let's go ahead and go into course history 2s. 1 to 4. So we've got Fleetwood, McIntyre, Siwoo, Jordo, Hideki, Mav. They're all 9K and above. We got Denny McCarthy here as well. Here's the question. How many can we really anchor around? We just saw we can do Fleetwood with 2 9Ks. That would be just fine. Mav McNeely's here, and so too is Jordan Spieth. I mean, that's probably going to be my... I really like Jordo. I do like Mav. I don't mind to pair those 2 up with any of these other guys that are 9K and above. So 3 are right off the gate. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not even going to make a question. I'm not going to try to... I'm not going to ask the question, could we play more than 4? I don't care to. I think it's too volatile to do that, and I think it's whatever. I'm going to leave it at that. 1 to 4 could almost be 2 to 4. And it is really close. The projection is 1.7 to 3.41. Remember, we always round up with the max. We always round down with the min. That's close. Course history 3s. Let's look at that. 2 to 5. So course history 3s, we get Fleetwood. Oh, sorry. No. It was thinking. It had to do its little thing. Henley and Straka alone, just like, yeah, give me those guys. There's 2 right there that I like quite a bit. Now, is this a for sure 2 to 5 lineup? If it isn't Henley and Straka, are we anchoring around anybody else? That's my question. I think the answer is no. I think there's too much volatility that comes with $8,800 and below. So this is a crazy projection or a crazy bucket to select golfers from. I don't think I want 5. This is a 2 to 5 bucket. I think this is going to be a 1 to 4 bucket. I'm making the executive decision right now. This is a 1 to 4 bucket. And I say that because if we take a look at the golfers here, I really like Henley. I really like Straka. I don't like anybody else nearly as much. And if I'm putting a lineup together, if I go Henley and Straka in a lineup, I'm not trying to force in Fowler or JJ Spawn or Hisatsune or Nick Taylor or anybody else. But could I play up to 5 golfers from this bucket? I'm going to tell you right now, I don't want to. There are, if I were to, okay, let's make a case for 5. You put Henley at 98, you put Straka at 92. Those are golfers I like. I can make the case for Ryo Hisatsune, so there's 3. I like Rico Hoey, there's 4. For me, I do like Rico Hoey. And I guess Bud Cauley, there's 5. I don't mind Haotong. I could play Max Homa. I guess, you know what, guys? There's just too many cheap golfers to not be okay with 5. If I'm not anchoring around Russell Henley and Sepp Straka, I don't want to anchor around anybody else. So I personally, okay, it's 1 to 5. I'll allow 5 for course history 3s, and that's a ridiculous like projection. Like that isn't helping any of you guys narrow down player pools. But for me, I feel like this is one of the most volatile buckets. Like I'm just gonna, it's fine. 1 to 5 is fine. Going back, it's 0 to 2 all the way down the board. So course history 4, course history 5, course history 6. So what do we see? Course history 4. The question the question to answer is, can we play more than 2 golfers from this bucket? Or yeah, actually, I can see it. Ludwig is a good choice. Okay, let's take Ludwig out of the picture. Do we see more than 3? Or do we see more than 2? The answer is no. So like, yeah, Ludwig, yes. If you're putting Ludwig, okay, if you are anchoring your lineups around Ludwig, I would, if you're going to use the optimizer and you're anchoring around Ludwig, you change course history 4 from 0 to 2 to 0 to 3. I'm not really anchoring my lineups that much around course history 4 or even Ludwig. So I'm okay with, yeah, no, I'm 0 to 2. Never mind. I take it back. You can use what I just said if it resonates with you. Otherwise, no, I'm taking it back. Course history 5s, 0 to 2 here. Thorbjornsen, $8,900. There are some good names here. Good reason to keep it 0 to 2. Because this reminds me of just the 6K range. Don't fall in love with anybody, but don't disrespect anybody. I think almost everybody here is actually, yeah, everybody in my opinion, except for Paul Waring, is live at this event. It's a really good bucket. It could be more. If you want to extend this to 0 to 3, I don't have an issue with that. I'm not going to. But if you want it, hey, I got no issue with that. And then the last bucket, course history 6s. Sudarshan, it's going to be all your young guys. Sudarshan, Kiefer, Penge, Smith, Zalatoris, McCarty, John Perry, Wrighton, Brown. Oh, wow. Well, first of all, I'm never anchoring my lineups around a 6K golfer, and I never want the optimizer to force itself to pick a 6K golfer. So when I look at the rest of these golfers that are 7K and above, can I make an argument to play at least 3 of these golfers? And I think the answer is no. I don't mind Sudarshan, but I'm just not. I'm not going to buy the hype right now. I'm also not buying the hype with Johnny Kiefer. Kiefer makes enough mistakes on tour because of how young he is that this is a golf course that's tough. I'm not going to play him at a tough golf course. I will play the Euros though, like Marco Penge and Jordan Smith. I think that's fine. Even John Perry and Christopher Wrighton and Danny Brown. I think that's fine. I just can't anchor around any of these 6K golfers, but they are good. They are good. Really debating, is this a 0 to 3 bucket? Normally we see 40, we have 30. We've never seen more than 3 inside the top 10. You've never seen more than 1 in the optimal. And you've never seen more than 1 in the top 5. Okay. Also, by the way, you can use this bucket system. I should have mentioned this earlier. I do like using the website. It's cleaner to look at. You know, we're down here. We're looking at course history 6s. So if you drill into course history 6, you're going to see a lot of the same numbers. Ooh, it looks like there was actually 2 top 5s at one point in time. Okay. So if I scroll down, you can actually see all the golfers in their finishing positions. So because I drilled down on the course history 6s, we can see which of those golfers were in those, you know, in the buckets. If I just want to look at all top, I don't know, let's do top 20s. And then if we went year by year, if we go 2025, you had Sammy Valimaki and Cam Young all in the 7K range, by the way. Remember, we got to consider the 6K range because of how good of the 6K golfers we see. 2024, 2 9Ks and the rest of them in the 6K range. Of course, that's 5K, but you remember, I consider them 6K golfers. Good names, by the way. That's something to take into consideration. Hoey, Olesen, before they became somebodies, I guess. 2023. All 7Ks and above. 2022. All 7Ks and above. 2021. All 7Ks and above. 2019. We do have 6K golfers in here, but also 10K golfers. 2018. 2 6s, 2 7s. Okay, so there's not enough 6K golfers that have shown up. See, this is what I like about the website. You drill down and you can see all the golfers. So that's a beautiful thing. Okay. Yeah, 0 to 2 then. 0 to 2. Recent form. 0 to 2 recent form 1s. So I'll go back into the bucket. Now we deselect everything from all those other buckets. We just select recent form 1s. We have 6 total golfers, and we get 4 9K and above, Sudarshan at 81, and then Bronson Burgoon, who has 1 finish last week. That was a 10th place finish. We can ignore him. Yeah, this is a 0 to 2 bucket. The issue I get, hold on. Let's pump the brakes. Is there a possibility that we would want to play Fleetwood, Spieth, Straka, or Oberg, Spieth, Straka, or even Spieth, Straka, Yellow Miraju, or Fleetwood, Spieth, Yellow Miraju? The answer is probably yes, right? Here's the issue. Let's consult the website. Bucket system. Recent form 1s. Let's look at past results. If we just look at top 20s from this bucket in previous years. Actually, no, I want to look at everybody that was in this bucket, and we're going to go by salary top to bottom. So, when looking at salaries, you get, I mean, Fleetwood was the most expensive golfer last year. He finished 62nd. Now, that has a caveat or an asterisk next to it. He shot 81 in the final round, I believe, and that was because it was super windy. Cantlay was here. He finished 33rd. Corey Connors finished 18th. Remember, Keegan Bradley was in the GPP winning lineup last year. 9,500. But our $7,500 golfer missed the cut. That's something to keep note of because it's $9,200 and above. 2024. Again, these are all the golfers that were in this bucket. We have a 7th, a 14th, a 14th, and a missed cut. $8,700 and above. No 7K golfers. That's because there weren't any. That's the thing to mention. There were only 4 total golfers that made up that bucket. So this is the other thing to think about is your conversion rates. You know, out of the 6 golfers that were here, 1 finished top 20. In 2024, of the 4 golfers, 3 golfers finished top 20. 1 guy finished top 10. The expensive guy, right? 2023. You had a 10th place finish in Ricky Fowler. That's 10,200. A missed cut. That was 9,000. And then 28th and 39th. So only one guy out of 4. Here, Rasmus Højgaard, 7,900. That was 18th place. That was good enough. Rory missed the cut. 2021. Spieth won. 10,700. Willett was the only other golfer. So we are seeing a lack of volume in past years for this bucket. It is kind of random. It shows out and then it disappears. I will say this, there's no reason. This week looks just so different than past weeks, right? I mean, there's 5 golfers 8K and above. Let's keep that in mind. 5 golfers 8K and above. There's only 2 golfers 8K and above here. 2018, no golfers 8K and above. 2017, 1 golfer that was 8K and above. 2021, 1 golfer that was 8K and above. 2022, 1 golfer that was 8K and above. 2023, there were 3 golfers 8K and above. 2024, there were 4 golfers 8K and above. 2025, there were 5 golfers that were 8K and above. This conversion rate is 1 out of 5, basically, and that's just of top 20s. But Keegan Bradley was in the GPP. So too was Corey Connors. Both of these guys were in the GPP lineups. That's 2. 2 golfers. I think that's where I'm going to stick with, though. Honestly, I think it's just 2 golfers that I'm comfortable playing. Yeah, because you in 2024, you wouldn't have been able to play these 3 golfers in a lineup together and be that successful, I don't think. I mean, you could, I guess, 10, 10, 8, and then drop down into the 7s and the 6s if you pick the right golfers. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I'm changing this to 0 to 3. Zero to 3 is fine. I mean, Fleetwood, Oberg, Spieth, Straka, Yellenrod, like having 3 of those guys is going to be just fine. So you go 0 to 3. Like I said, we're diving deep into this stuff. Diving deep. Going to recent form 2s. This projection was 1 to 4, but it's pretty darn close to 2 to 5. Can we make those arguments? 20 golfers total. A good chunk are 8K and above. Good chunk. 1 to 4 is the projection. Can we make this a 2 to 5? I think the answer is no. I wouldn't want to because I don't have faith in any of these 7K golfers that are right here. I do like Smotherman, don't get me wrong. But then I have 5 golfers that are 9K and above. Guess what? You can't play 5 of those guys. At most, you could play 3. And if you did play 3, you'd have to drop down into the 7K range, into the 6K range. Would you want to play more than that? The answer is probably no. 4 at most. Like 4 total with 3 9s and then 1 7 or 1 6 down here. But could you make the argument of like 2 9s, 2 8s, or 2 9s, an 8, a 7, or maybe 2 7s? Can we make that argument? Anybody in the 8K range that apps, you know what? There's good 8. These are the good 8K golfers in my opinion. Noren, Mitchell, and Hisatsune are golfers that I would not mind anchoring my lineups around. Mav McNeely I like quite a bit. I also like Russell Henley. So I'm like, I could go Henley. I could go a combination in any 2 of these 9K golfers. I really like them. And then go into, I wouldn't mind Noren or Mitchell. So that's 3 golfers. Yeah. The more I look at this now, the more I'm not going to do 5. This is a 1 to 4 bucket. Okay. Yep. I'm trying to do it in my head and I can't. There's no way that I'm going to get there. Next bucket is the same thing, 1 to 4. Can we make the argument to do 2 to 5? No, just based off of like, there's no way I'm anchoring around 2 of these guys. If the optimizer wants to select up to 4, that's fine, but this bucket is far weaker. Is it actually? This is the beautiful thing about this website is we can look. There's 76 points that are going towards the strength of field in this bucket versus, yeah, 120 out of this bucket. So that bucket is definitely weaker than the one we just looked at, and it has 25 more golfers in it. Now, volume matters. This is a volatile tournament where anybody can finish inside the top 10, but we are talking about anchoring like our lineups around some of these golfers. And I just don't know how. Am I okay telling the optimizer to make sure it selects 2 golfers out of this bucket? That's fine. But if I go into the projections for this, I just made a determination that I'm cool with playing 3 recent form 1s. So if I did 3 recent form 1s and we're already anchoring around 1 recent form 2, and then we decide we're going to make this bucket a 2 to 5 bucket, that's 6 golfers. It'd be 2 here automatically, 1 here automatically, and up to 3 from this bucket. Well, if I did like 3 golfers I wanted to anchor around, I've got no flexibility in the recent form 5, or recent form 4, 5, or 6. So I guess let's take a look at those buckets and try to figure it out. I mean, why not, right? This bucket is a 1 to 3. Recent form 4s is a 1 to 3, but I made it a 0 to 3. Let's see if that was the right choice. I know I'm going all over the place. You're gonna have to keep with me. Spawn is your highest price golfer. Don't want him. Don't want Kiefer. Don't care to play Poston. Yeah, no. This is definitely a 0 to 3. Okay, don't care. I don't care about any of these golfers. I'm okay with playing some of them, but I certainly do not want. Guys, I don't want 3 of these guys in my lineup. I can't. I mean, I could make. This is the issue when it comes to building lineups with these types of golfers. Let's say you liked Kiefer or Spawn. There's already question marks with Spawn. Kiefer's young, never played this tournament before. It's going to be tough conditions. I wouldn't want to anchor around a young kid in tough conditions. Not to say the inexperience just absolutely wipes him from being a good choice. But when it comes to Poston, McCarty, Meisner, Hautong, Wrighton, yeah, could I make the argument of playing Mac Meisner, Hautong, and Wrighton? Sure. Is that lineup any good? No, it's not. It's high volatility and too much risk, in my opinion. Like, yeah, I am chasing the optimal lineup, but this is not where you find the optimal lineup. I might eat my words when it comes down to, whatever, but now I'm cool with this being what I have it as. Recent form 4 0 to 3. That's fine. The other ones are going to be 0 to 2. I don't even have to look at the projections to take a look at that. Yep. This bucket sucks. There are names you could play. You could play Nick Hardy. You could play Lanto. You could play Ventura, and you could play Zalatoris. All question marks. If you're also into someone like Neil Shipley, fine. That's fine. But not me. Recent form 6s. Golfers with no recent form. That's a Big 10 no on that. Okay. Moving into the strokes gained buckets. 1 to 3, 1 to 3, 1 to 3, 1 to 4. But that is not what I have on the optimizer. For the optimizer, it is 1 to 3 strokes gain 1, 0 to 3 strokes gain 2, 1 to 3 strokes gain 3, 1 to 4 strokes gain 4. Okay, so it almost is perfect. Let's take a look, because I'm not certain. So I'm gonna skip salaries, and we're gonna get down to strokes gain 1. Strokes gain 1. This is a 1 to 3 bucket. Can we build a lineup? Well, first of all, yes. For ones, I love Mav McNeely this week. I mean, all of these 5 golfers would be my core, honestly. They're not a core to put in a lineup together, but I would have the optimizer select at least one of these guys. Like if I had a separate bucket conditional, it would be to select one of these golfers for sure. And then to mix and match them, that's fine. So this being a What is this? 1 to 3? Yeah, absolutely. The price tags are soft. The golfers are good. Like, why not have 1 to 3? A max of 3. That's fine. If I was to do 3, it would be in less than 20% of my lineups. If I made 3, like if I made a lineup that anchored around 3 of these guys, I'd only put them in 20% of my lineups. That's it. Because that would not be something I'd feel confident in doing. But anyways, yeah, that's what I would do. All right, going to the next bucket. Now I switched the strokes gain 2 bucket to a 0 to 3 bucket, but it's supposed to be a 1 to 3. Bobby Mack, Sepp Straka, Yellow Miraju, Olesen, Castillo, Smalley. Okay. You know what? This is a perfect example of needing to know salaries. That last bucket we just went through, I made the case that we could put 2 of those golfers in a lineup together, if not 3. They were expensive golfers. If I did 3, it would be impossible to put McIntyre and Straka in a lineup with the other 3 that I just mentioned. So me changing this to a 0 to 3 bucket is fine because the rest of these golfers, 7K and below, I do not feel confident in anchoring lineups around, period. I don't mind playing them every once in a while, but like collectively, the ownership that I'd want of these golfers, I mean, all of these 6K golfers are going to be 2% owned. So let's just do the math really easy. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22. Chad Ramey, what do I want to put him in lineups? Like 6%, 8%? Let's do 8. That makes 30. William Mao, let's make that 36. Hao Tong Lee, let's bump that up to 41, 42. Actually, no, I actually go up higher than that, 36. So I'd own him in like 10%. Matt McCarty, probably 6. So 42, 48%. I'm kind of getting to an argument to say I would own, like the ownership that I would have or the exposure I'd have with the rest of these golfers would be 50% or less. So that would make Yellow Miraju, Straka, and McIntyre collectively, I need to own them 50% or more. And that's not even perfect math because you'd want to have a percentage that's like 125 or more in order to anchor around one golfer from this bucket. And I'm just not going to. I can't even make the argument to get to 100, to be honest with you. So if that's the case, I can't see this bucket being a 1 to 3 bucket. So I keep it 0 to 3. That's fine. Strokes gain 3 is going to be the same argument we just made. We just made for this one. Let's take a look. Strokes gain 3. Siwoo leads the charge. Then it's Thorbjornsen, Spawn, Mitchell, Hisatsune, Kiefer, Penn, and then goes into these guys. Okay. Anchoring around one of these guys? I don't think so. Like, I like Siwoo Kim this week. Don't get me wrong, but having to anchor around this? No. And the rest of the golfers? No. And let me walk through this. So in that strokes gain 1 bucket, you had Fleetwood in that bucket. Did we also have Oberg? I think we had Oberg in that bucket as well. So we had our 2 10K golfers, plus you had what, Spieth and who? Okay, hold on. Let me take a look. Yeah, so we had Fleetwood, Oberg, Henley, Spieth, and McNeely. I like all 5 of those golfers. I'm going to make combinations of at least 2 of them, and maybe I'll do 3 of them. I don't hate it, honestly, to build lineups around these golfers. So if I'm doing at least 2 of them, I have to look at the rest of the buckets and determine, can I even put a lineup together anchoring around any of these other ones? So strokes gain 3, like we just talked about strokes gain 2, right? McIntyre and Sepp Straka are at the top. I like both of them. So let's make that, what if I went Spieth or Henley? Let's put those 2 guys together with McNeely, because I like McNeely. So just say I have 2 of those guys, and then I put Sepp Straka in that lineup. There's 3. 3 9K and above. Okay. Keep that in mind. 3.9K and above. So then let's go into strokes gained 3 and take a look. So that eliminates Siwoo from the lineups. That eliminates Thorbjornsen from lineups. Now, and it also eliminates Spawn, and most likely eliminates Mitchell and Hisatsune. Hisatsune I might be able to go 9.998. I might be able to do that, but that would be really tough. So really, it all hinges on the rest of these golfers down here. Could I make the argument to play at least one of them? And you know what? You'd probably have to do a confidence rating that gets up to 100%. Marco Penge, 12%. Jordan Smith, 10%. So that's 22. Zalatoris, 6%. That's 26. Davis Thompson, 4. So that's 30%. Hoey, 10. So that's 40%. Max McGreevy, 10, 50%. Meisner, 5, 55%. 5% for Chris Kirk. 5% for Perry, 5% for Wright, and that's 60, I think. So I already know. I can already tell you right now. No, this is not a 1. This is not a 1 to 3 bucket. A 0 to 3 bucket. Strokes gained 4 is probably going to be the exact same way, by the way. Strokes gained 4 means you're not very strong off the tee, but you're good with everything else, pretty much. And what do we see? You have Matsuyama, Noren, McCarthy, Taylor. That's their MO. Same with Harmon. This is absolutely their MO. Then it just really just drops in price. And the rest of these guys, I mean, you know what? There's some valuable names down here. I like these guys up at the top. Would I want to, I mean, I would have to have an exposure levels that's higher than 100% in order to anchor around 1. And I can already tell you I do not want Matsuyama in that many lineups because I am deathly afraid that he's going to withdraw on me. 10%, 10%, 10%. That's 30. 36, 38. I'll go 38%. I'm adding 8 for Nick Taylor. Harmon, I'm adding 6. That's 44. Jaeger, I'm adding 6. That's 50. Bezzy, 6. That's 56. Matt Wallace, 6. Like, it's 56, 62, 68. 72% for Tom Kim. I don't want Tom Kim in my lineups. Marty Doe, let's go 74. Hughes, 78. Homa, let's make that. I'll be nice, 82. And the rest of these guys, 1% or worse. And some of these just being 0%. So that doesn't even reach 100. My confidence level in this bucket doesn't even reach 100. So that's another 0 lineup. 0 to 4. So really the one bucket that remained was strokes gained 1. And again, I haven't done this in the past. I know this is a long segment, but at the same time, you guys get to see me go through this and you get to make your own determinations also. So if you actually do like some of those golfers, you can keep those projections as is. But for me, as I go through them, I'm giving you the reasons why I don't like it. Let me catch up with the chat really quick. I see a bunch of lineups that went through, or a bunch of chats that went through. I'm done with my inside Chessar jokes, I promise. He was distracted by the Harmon pick. Byron said Mitchell always finishes top 30. Yeah, I mean, he's pretty decent. Is Burgoon a viable 6K? Yes, Razor, I think so. I know nothing about him. He used to be a little darling in the 6K range that a lot of us DFS players played back in 2017, 2018. I think Burgoon is a beast personally. Hollywood Hoagie is my dude down here. Hey, that's not bad. Every one of mine has 3 9Ks. Okay. My lineup is Fleetwood McNeely right now. That sounds good to me. 3 9Ks are my jam this week, says Razor. I like what you're cooking, Razor, says good night. 3 8Ks, so JJ Spawn. Or as they say, deep dive. Noren is due. Okay. AJ, I remember what bucket you were looking at. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but when I read that, when I was going over it, I agreed with you. That bucket was trash. Ricky says Chronic Nebula. That's not bad. Keith Mitchell is interesting. I agree. Smalley has missed every cut here. I don't really care about Alex Smalley. I don't mind him. I think he's solid, but yeah, I'm not anchoring anything around him. Whaley was in the -12 to -16 group from earlier. Thank you, AJ. I didn't even realize that. Lols, I just made a lineup with Tom Kim. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of small hands Tom Kim. Okay. I think we move on to the, well, strokes gained 5 and 6. I already know these are 0 buckets. I'm just going to keep those projections as is. I already know. Strokes gained 5, 0 to 2. Strokes gained 6, 0 to 6. Yeah, this is perfect. That's, yep, absolutely. There's Hoagie, by the way. So those that like Hollywood Hoagie, only pair him up with one other golfer that's in this bucket. You wouldn't want to pair him up with multiples of other guys. It would just be disaster, in my opinion. Okay. And then if I go through the salary buckets, we can certainly do that. We kind of already did with pass optimal and GPP winning lineups. Projections, 0 to, there's only 2 10K golfers. We see normally 4.5. That's what I'm saying when I said earlier in the pass optimal GPP winning lineups. The Sky Scheffler effect is real. We just don't have as many 10K golfers anymore. So we have 2 this week, and the projection's 0 to 2. You could play them both together, honestly, unless they're in the same Marquee Tee Time. We'll see. Salaries, 9K. That's 1 to 3. 8K is 0 to 2. 7K is 1 to 4. And then the 6K is 0 to 2 for high 6K, and low 6K is also 0 to 2, but, you know, erring on the 0 to 1. Like I said, usually you see 35-35. There's 35-43. So we have 80. Nope, we have 78. Okay. Let's get into the last segment, and that is the Marquee Tee Times. And then we will build lineups, but we're going to go fast with lineups. So here's what I'll ask you guys to do. Pay attention to the Marquee Tee Times. We want to select 2 to 4 golfers from the Marquee Tee Times to build around our lineups because we see it every single week. Last week, there were 4. I didn't actually show that on the stream with Byron, but there were 4. And they were all in separate tee times. They were in the GPP winning lineup, the optimal lineup, and the SweetSpot optimal. So it was absolutely successful last week. So again, just be on the lookout. Get your lineups in. We're going to cruise through building lineups, and then we're going to get out of here. But first, we're going to get into the Marquee Tee Times. Here we go. If you are on the cheat sheet, again, available to you by going to the cheat sheet, scrolling down to the bottom, finding this cheat sheet down here and clicking here, it opens up a Google Sheet that's going to look, very similar to mine. You can follow along with me. I'm going to use mine for this segment, but again, you can follow along with, I'm going to change my zoom level so you can see all of the Marquee Tee Times. Everybody in the chat, I just told you guys, be prepared to go with 2 to 4 golfers from these Marquee Tee Times. We want to anchor our lineups around 2 to 4 of these guys, and we do not want to select multiple golfers out of the same tee time. Reason being, 90% of the time, we see golfers from the Marquee Tee Times either in the optimal lineup, the GPP winning lineup, or the SweetSpot optimal. And of those 90%, 90% of them don't have golfers playing in the same groups. So that's it. It's just, it's a game of percentages. Just trust me. We go through this every single week. We find our success every single week doing this. Group 1, Tommy Fleetwood, Ricky Fowler, Hideki Matsuyama. The only guy I feel confident in is Tommy Fleetwood. Ricky, I would love to see do well, and Matsuyama scares the piss out of me. I think he's if there was anybody that I would say has a good chance to withdraw from this event, it's going to be Hideki Matsuyama. So be prepared for that. Group 2 is Ludwig Åberg, Jordan Spieth, Bobby Mack. When I just went over the buckets, especially what was it, the strokes gained buckets, Åberg and Spieth are in bucket 1. Had I known about the Marquee Tee Times when I was going over the bucket system, that might change my opinion as to the other buckets to look at. Bobby Mack is in strokes gained 2, which actually I'm gonna kind of renege on my comment I just made. I'm glad we switched that bucket from a 1 to 3 to a 0 to 3. Or actually, we kept it to 0 to 3. That's perfect. Because if you're going to anchor around Oberg or Spieth, you can't play McIntyre. So that's interesting. The next group, oh my God. Mav McNeely, Max Homa, Tony Finau. I'm a big fan of Mav McNeely this week. Homa and Finau, I couldn't care less. I'm so happy that one of my favorite golfers is paired up with two of my least favorite golfers in this field. That makes building lineups around Mav McNeely so much easier and just ignoring Homa or Finau. I will say this. I've learned the sweet spot number for ownership if you're building multi-entries is 40%. It's around 41%. I always use 41. Mav McNeely might get 41% of my lineups, but I'm probably going to keep it at 33. Group 4, Sepp Straka, Brian Harman, Billy Horschel. Makes me like Sepp Straka even more. I am seeing a clear lineup of Sepp Straka, Mav McNeely, and either Ludwig, Jordo, Bobby Mack, or possibly Tommy Fleetwood. I'm really liking the idea of lineups. And then the next group is Russell Henley. Here, let me do this differently. I accidentally held the wrong. There we go. The next group is Russell Henley, JJ Spaun, Steven Yeager. I don't want to play JJ Spaun. I don't want to play Steven Yeager. Now I get Russell Henley. Like, when it comes to the Marquee Tee Times, it feels like DraftKings just is playing with my heartstrings here because I could literally build a lineup. Henley, Straka, McNeely. And then, I mean, that's probably all you could do with 9Ks. Or start my lineup with Ludwig, Jordo, Bobby Mack with McNeely, Straka, or Henley. This is wonderful. And even the next grouping is Siwoo, Michael Thorbjornsen, and Marco Penge. Interesting. Hey, if you like Marco Penge, you can just ignore Siwoo and Michael Thorbjornsen, or vice versa. Whatever. Oh my God, that's awesome. Group 7. Don't really care for, but the fact that it is a Marquee Tee Time is very interesting. You get Matt McCarty, Kevin Yu, and Nick Taylor. Group 8 is Yellow Miraju, Higo, and Andrew Novak. I kind of really like Andrew Novak this week. That kind of, with all these 9Ks up here, I'm so enthralled in wanting to do that. And then Group 9 is Keith Mitchell, Jordan Smith, Patton Kizzire. All right, for everybody in the chat that has a badge next to their name, put in your 2 to 4 golfers to build lineups around, and we're going to get through building lineups somewhat fast. And I guess we're going to do a roll call number 3, but it's not going to be right now. It will be... Actually, here's what I'm going to do. For everybody that has a badge next to their name, I'm going to put a timer on the screen. It is on you to give me your lineups within the next 3 minutes. For everybody that has a badge next to their name. And if you want a badge next to your name, all you got to do is hit the join button right down here. Select the red tier. That's $1.99 a month, $2 a month. Select that. Become a red tier member. You'll get a badge next to your name and you can build lineups. I'll build lineups for you. Let's see. Where are we with likes? 11 likes. So we're not going to get to 25 today. That's a bummer. The music on. Let me look at the chat here. Smalley has missed every cut. I saw that. Okay, never mind. Mitchell Fowler T20 lineups. He's now small, makes every cut hands, says AJ. That's funny. I hate Tony most of the time, but I'm surely out on him this week. Yeah. AJ, I'm happy that you are using the filters from earlier and you were paying attention. Saying Fleetwood Straka, I got no issues with that, man. That seems like a good lineup construction. I have 15 viewers, it looks like. I don't know how many of those are members, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to take the timer off. Anybody else can come in and that is a member, put in your lineups. I'm going to cut this off with roll call number 3. Let's see. I asked who your winner was before. Well, since it's on the screen, roll call number 3 from the golfers that are on the screen. Give me your favorite golfer. If you can't see the screen, I'll call them all out. Group 1, Tommy Fleetwood, Ricky Fowler, Hideki Matsuyama. Group 2, Ludwig Oberg, Jordan Spieth, Bobby Mack. Group 3, Mav McNeely, Max Homa, Tony Finau. Group 4, Sepp Straka, Brian Harmon, Billy Horschel. Group 5, Russell Henley, JJ Spawn, Steven Yeager. Group 6, Siwoo Kim, Michael Thorbjornsen, Marco Penge. Group 7, Matt McCarty, Kevin Yu, Nick Taylor. Group 8, Sudarshan Yelamaraju, Garrick Higo, Andrew Novak. Group 9, Keith Mitchell, Jordan Smith, Patton Kizzire. This is for roll call number 3. If you want this screen, I would pause the video now, keep it up, and then you can comment, and then hit the live button after you're done. But I'm gonna go to my giveaway screen and get down roll call number 3. I didn't think we were getting to roll call 3, but at the same time, I know who I am and I talk quite a bit. And I over-explain a lot, so I understand. Razor Sharp, AJ Love. Corey Graves still here. What's going on, Corey? Lombardi Lee. Good night. Wheels. Remember, these entries go into the Masters giveaway as well. So anybody that else is in chat. Looks like I've got 13 viewers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys have commented. Mr. Henson is still here. Ryan Henson. Here we go. Okay, we're gonna get into lineup building. And it is going to start with Fleetwood Straka. I'm gonna change these to 100% from here down to here. Everybody else at AK, that is absolutely fine. Thought I pinned that. Oh, I did pin it. Is that not showing up for everybody? Oh, I don't like that. I can't see the pinned chat. And the reason I do it is so I can see it. Oh, it's at the bottom for me now. Oh my God, they changed it. Okay, I see it. I see it. I see it. I see it. Fleetwood and Straka. All right, AJ, here we go. 5 lineups. Fleetwood, Straka, McNeely, love it. Love it. Seabez, Novak, Whaley. I'm going to kick out Seabez. I don't mind Seabez, but I'm going to kick him out. Jordan Smith, Novak, Lee Hodges. Love it. Ooh, that last one didn't have McNeely. Had he Satsune. Okay. Fleetwood, Straka, McNeely, McCarty, Kirk, Grillo. McCarty's going to get the boot. I'm absolutely fine with that. Let's kick him out. So we get a 10-9, 2 8s, a 7, and a 6. This one's fine. This one's absolutely fine. Mitchell's in this lineup to go along with Taylor, Kirk, and Valimaki. Sure. Next lineup is Fleetwood, Spieth, Straka. Love that. AJ, how fitting that you get Dechasar in this lineup with Homo, Jesus Christ. Oh my God. That's a Freudian slip. And Emiliano Grillo. You didn't know that's kind of the nickname that I used to call Max Homa quite a bit. I shouldn't say quite a bit. Not quite a bit. It was not quite a bit. But anytime that he got shown on the camera or whatever, yeah, no, my bad. I don't mind that lineup though. That was fine. Fleetwood, Spieth, Straka, Hoey, Mao, and Streelman. Let's not keep that one. Fleetwood, Straka, Spawn, Hoey, Finau, and Kuchar. Oh, that's a gross lineup. Is Finau just going to show up all the time now? No. Hey, I actually like this lineup a lot. Straka, Fleetwood, McNeely, Hoey, Mao, and Kevin Yu. Sure. I mean, Mao is part of the elite grouping, so maybe this is a good moment to play Willie Mao. Homa and Grillo. Yeah, you're probably right, dude. That's actually probably what it was. I was trying to come up with something. Fleetwood, Straka, Thorbjornsen, Finau, Cauley, and Johnny. Okay, I like this lineup a lot too. AJ, these are 5 solid lineups. That last one was pretty good. Pretty darn good. Fleetwood, Straka, Thorbjornsen, Finau, Cauley, and Johnny Vegas. I do like Johnny Vegas this week. This one isn't so bad either. Sweet. Those are good lineups, man. Those are good lineups. Moving on. Lombardi Lee. We get Spieth and Alex Smalley. Okay. Just 2 guys. Interesting. There he is. Found him. Here we go. You get, you know what? Let's bump Fleetwood down to, now let's keep it here for now. Sure. You got Spieth, Fleetwood, Noren, Smalley, Bezzy, and Patrick Fishburne. I don't mind that. Don't hate it. Next lineup is Henley, Spieth, Matsuyama, Smalley, Hughes, and Vince Whaley. That's fine. Then we get Fleetwood again with Jordo, Hisatsune, Smalley, John Perry, and Billy Horschel. I actually really like that lineup. I really like that lineup. John Perry just shown. A lot of times I have to boost up these Englishmen or the DP World Tour guys that are over here. I have to boost them up, and I don't have to with this one. AJ, don't mind me. I would highlight most of your lineups that I built, but I really do like this one. Here, I'll be equal opportunity here. I think, yeah, actually, honestly, those are probably the only two that I would actually play, but the other ones I don't mind. Okay. Two more lineups. Here we go. Matt McCarty. Okay. Well, you know what? I will try to 10, 9, 3 7s, and a 6. Eric Cole's not a bad choice. At some point in time, one of you guys is going to have to play Matt McCarty. Otherwise, he's just going to continue to show up. Do I want to play Matt McCarty? You know what? Let's embrace volatility. I think that's the thing that has to happen this week. I want to play everybody at least once, so I'm gonna save some of these lineups that maybe I don't like. Chandler Phillips, he's popping because of good course history. He hasn't been playing that great this year, so this lineup is actually pretty solid. Fleetwood, Spieth, Straka, Smalley, Smotherman into Chandler Phillips. I just don't trust it enough. So let's move on from that one, and we get now Fleetwood, Spieth, Taylor, Smalley, Hoey, and S.H. Kim. I think I heard from Kenny Kim that S.H. Kim, this is the last event before he has to go into military service. So does that weigh on him? I don't think. I'm pretty sure even if he does well, that doesn't take him away from military service. So. But I bet if he wins, he gets invited to the Masters, and then if he wins the Masters, then he's free of military service. So a win, he's gonna have to really care about. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna save it. There's enough reasons to save, in my opinion. Also, maybe I'm flying off the seat of my pants. Who knows? Who knows? All right, Lombardi, those were your lineups, sir. Good night. Penge and Jordan Smith, two Englishmen. We do get Penge in Group 6, and we get Smith in Group 9. So these are technically Marquee Tee Time guys. Very interesting. I'm going to change Fleetwood's ownership to, let's go 85%. So he won't be selected here. I might switch it to 80% at some point in time. Your first lineup is Jordo, Matsuyama, Alex Noren, Penge, J.L. Smith, and Willie Mao. That's fine. Willie Mao is okay, but I don't know. How much do I have him? 11%? Yeah. I think I'm going to change that to 8%, and I'm going to be absolutely okay with it. Your next lineup is Fleetwood, McNeely, Penge, Smith, Castillo, and Bud Cauley. 10, 9, and 4 7s. We've seen that be a common lineup build, so sure. Why not? Next lineup is Fleetwood and Oberg with Penge, Smith, Chad Ramey, and Michael Kim. Okay, so it ran out of steam with the last two guys, but that's close. I don't hate Chad Ramey. I feel like this is a waste opportunity to build a better lineup, like one that has Austin Smotherman in it, maybe, if possible. Let's kick out Ramey. Let's see what the next lineup will be. Fleetwood, Straka, McCarthy, 10-9-8, 7-7-6. Webb, Simpson. Oh, can we do Webb? It's a solid lineup outside of Webb. I really like this lineup. I don't care for Webb that much. Shoot. Yeah. Oh God, Joel Damon. Do you like Joel Damon instead? You're getting, it's the same lineup, just this one has Joel Damon instead of. Okay, this is what I was hoping for. Something like this. Henley, Matsuyama, McCarthy, Penge, J.L. Smith, and Austin. I don't know why I'm calling him J.L. Smith. The fact that L's in there, it's Jordan Smith. Fleetwood, Noren, Hisatsune, Penge, Smith, and Max Homa. Sure, don't hate it. Henley, Matsuyama, McCarthy, Penge, Smith, and Smotherman. Didn't we just do that lineup? Okay, let's kick out Matsuyama. Another, oh my god, but it's a good lineup. Holy crap. Fleetwood, Oberg, Penge, Smith, Smotherman, and Tom Hoagie. Okay. That was a solid lineup. I actually like that lineup quite a bit. Okay. I know if they win a gold medal or big medal for the country, that counts for service for South Koreans, because I remember that was Sungjae in the last Olympics. Sucks for SH Kim. I think everyone should have a choice to do anything in life. Well, I'm very indifferent on it. If you choose to live in a country that offers or that demands that from their citizens, because I think that's a thing that Americans don't realize is, like, you know, JFK says, don't ask what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. I think a lot of Americans nowadays are very selfish and forget that there is a level of service you need to do for your country. That's, you know, well, I'm not going to get into politics, but if you don't like the service aspect of being a South Korean, then you should just move. You know, become a citizen of a different country. Represent that country. You know, like, I think it's kind of whatever, but at the same time, if you could lower my taxes for the rest of my life, I could take more of my paycheck home, but I only have to do 2 years of military service, I'd sign up for that. I'd absolutely sign up for that. Like, I don't want to get in a stupid war like the wars that we've gotten in the Middle East. I don't want to get in a stupid war and risk my life. But, you know, if I was a reserve or something like that, I don't care. Whatever. Jeez, just make my life a little easier for 2 years of my life and, you know, whatever. No, my 2 cents, you know. Does not matter to me if you disagree with me, that you're more welcome to disagree with me. Just how I feel about it. All right, Mr. Henson. Fleetwood, Spieth, and Smith. Lots of Fleetwood, huh? Group 1, Group 2, and Group 9. Here we go. Fleetwood, Spieth, Jordan L. Smith, Hoey, Bezzy, and Novak. Henson, are you here? Ryan Henson, are you here? John Bizzle, is Ricky Cass playing? John, I'm very confused by that question. I don't know what that means. I'm trying to decipher it in my brain right now. I'm not positive on it. Okay. I don't know if Henson's here, but I like this lineup. The only question is, oh, Castillo withdrew? Okay, good to know. Good God, man. Another withdraw? Oh, that was from 3 hours ago. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. Well, I'll know that now. He wasn't one of my favorite plays, and I guess I have to rebuild a lineup for somebody. Put 0 for Castillo. Must have happened like right when I was going live or just before. Okay. This lineup is fine, right? Yeah, we're gonna save this one. I like it. Outside of like Bezzy, and I'm gonna put Bezzy in my lineups. I just don't know if I want to waste the lineups of your guys's to put Bezzy in them. Fleetwood, Spieth, Harmon, Jordan L. Smith, Kirk, Adrian, Dumont, Jay Chassar. Sure. My only question is, can ADDC have 3 weeks in a row of decent play? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Fleetwood, Spieth, Harmon, Jordan Smith, Tom Kim, Mac Hughes. Small hands, Tom Kim. Small hands makes every cut, or whatever it was. Small makes every cut hands, yeah. Hey, this is a, Ryan Henson, I think, knows Shank's aunt, or is part of the family, something like that. The aunt is part of the family, so by cousin of a cousin of a cousin of a cousin, the guy I'm building lineups for knows Adam Shank's family. So it seems like a perfect lineup to build for Ryan. Fleetwood, Spieth, McNeely, Jordan Smith, John Perry, Adam Shank. There you go, bud. I don't know if you like Adam Shank, but there it is. And I don't think you're a guy who really cares for Webb Simpson, so we'll go ahead and cut that out. Sure, we'll go with this one. Fleetwood, Spieth, Satsune, Smith, McCarty, and Kanaya. Okay. Alrighty then. So who do I need to rebuild lineups for? This guy right here. That was not a Fleetwood. It was Jordan Smith and Marco Penge. Do I have another Ricky Castillo that I don't know about? I think that's it, right? Yep. Okay. All right. I'll do one more Penge. Jordan Smith lineup. 6'9", huh? I just realized that 69. Was that on purpose? Probably not. Ooh, Tom Kim. I don't think so. I mean, it was a good lineup until I saw Tom Kim's name, but if you like this lineup, here you go. Fleetwood, Spieth, Penge, Smith, Holly, Kim. I almost saved it. I like this one. Ooh, it's risky, but Jordan Spieth, Matsuyama, McCarthy, Penge, Jordan Smith, and Bud Colley. It is risky, but I like it. Okie doke. Alrighty. Moving on. So we just did that for Ryan. Razor sharp. Henley Siwoo, Giuseppe Straka, and Mav? What? What are you asking me to do here? I don't think you can put all four of those guys together. Razor sharp. I need some clarification about your lineup building. Henley Siwoo, I mean, that alone can be done, but then you want Straka and McNeely. That can't be done. I mean, you have 4 golfers that are in different Marquee Tee Times, but this, yeah, can you even build a lineup like this? What do you have left? Oh, you can. Oh my God. Oh my God. So I have it saying you have to build this, you have to have a 7K golfer in your lineup, but we'll bypass that. Oh, and then we need another 6K. I can't get behind a lineup with Gordon Sargent in it, even if he is from Texas, so don't care. Or Kensai Hirata. Or Nick Dunlap. Or Camilo Villegas. Or Ryan Palmer. Or Peter Malnati. or Rafael Campos, or Brendan Todd, or, well, this one I could do. Bryce Garnett's fine. Hey, H. Lee, maybe he's okay? I don't know. Jeffrey King, no. Marcel Rosa withdrew last week, so no. No, stop. Jimmy Walker can't be played. Yeah. Give me some golfers to build lineups around. That way I don't have to break rules. Don't gots to break rules. Actually, you know what? 2 6Ks are fine. I believe you're the last person that has requested lineups to be built, so I'll wait for you to give me something you like. Retail Ripper gave me 6 golfers, so are you just double checking to see if they fit the bucket conditions? Oh, Spawn was 86. I was like, isn't he like 7,800? But he's not. Davey Boy Thompson. Wrighton and Moore. Taylor Moore was able to get into the event because of withdraws, right? But I don't know where he is. Taylor Moore. There he is. 6,900, that ain't bad. $49,500, huh? Let's see. You do not have a last year 1 golfer. But everything else fits, so that's fine. I think that's fine. You don't have enough last week's 6 golfers, but you're not over the maxes for everything else. Everything course history bucket wise is good. Recent form, you don't have a recent form 2 golfer, although we want you to have at least 1, but everything else fits inside the maxes. You have way too many strokes gained 3 golfers. So you're way over on that one. But I guess everything else looks just fine. Looks peachy keen. Peachy keen. Build around them. Top 3. Okay. So the easiest way that I can do this... how am I going to do this, actually? All right, I'll do this for you. So, unfortunately, on Excel, you can only have 200 arguments that you can make for the coding that's behind how you build the optimizer, and I've used up all 200. The only thing that I'm not really using is the AM PM stacks. So what I can do, because I can copy and paste this back from the other spreadsheet that I have, I can make all of these AMs and then just put in the golfers that you like and make those PMs. You said you liked Henley, Siwoo Straka, and Mav McNeely. So then what I would go down here is in the PM thing, I would change this to 4, actually 3. And let's just do 2 out of 3. You want 3, top 3. So we'll go 3 out of 3. You can't put 4 in a lineup anyways, so we'll just go with this and see what it does. Henley, Straka, McNeely, Bezzy, Novak, Chris Kirk. Okay, 3 9s, 3 7s. That's fine. Henley, Straka, McNeely, Fowler, Chad Ramey, and Jackson Suber, which, I mean, those are lineups that Wheels Up in the chat likes, or for Suber at least. Henley, Straka, McNeely, Poston, Cauley, Kim. So Straka, not Straka, but Siwoo is just not being selected. Small Hands, Tom, Kim. Let's actually anchor one of our lineups around Siwoo and see what happens. Henley, Siwoo, Straka, Finau, Cauley, and Kuchar. Siwoo, Straka, McNeely. Okay, so no Henley this time. Norin, Bud Cauley, Kevin Streeland. No. Henley, Siwoo, Straka, McCarthy, Chad Homa, Max Homa, Chandler Phillips. Nope. Henley, Siwoo, McNeely, Harmon, Cauley, Glover. Sure, that one's fine. Let's do one more Siwoo and then switch it up. Siwoo, Straka, McNeely, Fowler, Smotherman, Hubbard. Yeah, I like that one. I will kick that out. And one last one. Henley, Straka, McNeely, Torbjorn Olesen, Hoey, and Steven Fisk. We did kind of mention Steven Fisk earlier and saying that's not terrible. Sure. Just one more just to give you a little bit of a different lineup. Siwoo, Straka, McNeely, Satsune, Mao, and Taylor Moore. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. Okadoke. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to just check the chat one last time, answer some questions. If you got any more questions, leave them. Otherwise, I'm getting out of here. That is way later than I need to be here. But yeah. Okay. So what do I see in the chat? What do I see? What do I see? What do I see? They build around them. That's fine. Olsen hasn't gotten picked, but has good course history. Well, he was just picked. He was just picked. Like Olesen, McCarthy, Harmon as a swap. Breaking. Tiger Woods announced he's stepping away from golf to seek treatment and focus. I saw that. I saw that that announcement that he made. It's very generic in my opinion. I don't know if that actually means he's seeking treatment. Yeah, I feel like that's just something he said. Such loser behavior by Tiger. I know. Good night says, like those. Good. Waiting for the Hoagie, Smotherman, Mitchell with Henley, Mav, and Straka. Well, you could have told me that. We can just put it in and see if it works. Henley, Straka, McNeely. And you said Hoagie? No Hoagie. No Hoagie. Optimizer must be off. I see. Didn't I build one Hoagie lineup? I swear there was one Hoagie lineup that was built. Or I thought maybe, oh, maybe he was selected and I didn't save it. Oh yeah, right here. Here it is. So unfortunately, Razor, you see this for all my 6Ks? It's 2 to 3%. So Hoagie at 6,500. I only have the exposure set at 3%, and because he was picked the one time and I've only built 25 lineups, 1 out of 25 equals 4%. Currently his ownership is higher than my max exposure for him, so the optimizer would not select him because the exposure is too high. Here, I'll do this and run it and see what we get. Taylor and McGreevy, but let's add Smotherman to the mix. It breaks, so you can't do Smotherman in that lineup, unfortunately. The buckets are not going to allow it. And right now the buckets are very flexible, meaning that's just not a good lineup. It's not a good lineup. Oh, that was super nice. I see what you did there. Wheels up. When you have surgeries, doctor prescribes pain meds, it's easy to get addicted. I'm not excusing behavior, but treatment such as rehab is great. He keeps saying I wasn't driving drunk. It's like he's downplaying the pills, but I understand he is in pain and relies on the pills, but he has to understand that he can't drive. Wheels Up goes, it's hard to make an announcement. It definitely sounds very celebrity and very commercial, like he's trying to endorse it or make money off of it. I think the announcements are weird too. I feel like what would be better is if there was like some kind of camera, like what has happened in the past, where you see a celebrity walking into a treatment center and everyone knowing that when you walk into that treatment center, you won't escape for like 8 weeks or whatever. That'd be the way to do it. But yeah, making a statement to say I'm going to step away and seek treatment. You've stepped away from golf for the whole last year, right? Isn't that what he did? He stepped away from golf for the entire last year. We haven't even seen him competing or anything except for making appearances at TGL. He's not doing any, you know, like he's in privacy all the time or in his business meetings and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a weird statement to make. Thanks, Darbo, and I will see everyone tomorrow night. Absolutely. Addictions need ownership, not excuses. To own it like a baby reveal party is gross. Yeah, with all the money he has, I don't understand why not pay for a chauffeur. I know. Okay. Anything else? Anything else? I will be streaming tomorrow night at 9 p.m. I will say this. With my headaches and stuff, it is rocky. I don't tend to get cluster headaches around 9 p.m. So, or even like this time of night, I typically get my cluster headaches mid-afternoon / evening. So somewhere between 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. is where I tend to get them. Also, I get them late at night, like 4 in the morning. That's kind of how it goes. I think what I'm gonna do is do timestamps, and then I'm gonna go straight to bed. So if you guys want the optimizer sent to you, put those emails in now, because I probably won't get to it tonight. Take a break, Eric. Relax and get back to full health. Well, there's nothing I can do with cluster headaches. I implore all of you to go look them up. There's nothing you can do. There's no preventative measures. There's nothing. It's just it's like a seasonal thing. That clusters mean they come in clusters, and it's just whenever the last one happens, that's the last one, and I won't get them for a period of time. And then I'll get them again at some point in time. Let AI do your chapters and get human sleep. It won't take me long. Did you guys ever notice that, like, there'll be a transition, but watch this. You see the bucket way up on the top right? Well, when I thumb through the timestamps, I look for these little symbols. I'll do another one. See how it changes? I did that on purpose. I did it on purpose so I could go through and do the timestamps. I should do something for the Marquee Tee Times. I don't have an icon for that, but it's also not difficult to find. It's always after the bucket system, and it's right before building lineups. And building lineups looks like this. Oh, I had the optimizer up, but it was like the optimizer would show. So I know exactly where to find the timestamps. A lot of times it only takes me like 5 minutes, and that's it. So it's all good, dude. It's all good. All right, guys. Thank you all for being here. That's correct. Visual bookmarks. Thank you all for being here. I will see you, all the YouTube members, tomorrow, and then look out for Masters content Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all that stuff. Logan, if you're using broadcasting software, another trick is you'll see some people with like a pane, you know, a list of what they're going to talk about, and then their transition changes that pane to go down to the next segment. That, I think, is the best way to do it. But since I show all my data across this whole screen, I can't take up that much real estate. That stuff bothers me to no extent. I want something small, like the visual bookmark, like you just mentioned, and then that way it's not that invasive. But anyways, all right, see y'all later. Bye. Thank you for being here. Bye. See ya. Bye.